Hey everybody, how are we today? Welcome, welcome, one and all. Okay. Let me just write it in the Discord. Okay. Well, there we have it. Okay. So let me quickly pull up DigCast. Here we go. Okay. Fuck, where is it? It's like way down here. There we are. Founding the Spawn Masons and being...
Another video.
Oh, whoops. And being a Freemason IRL. Okay, I'm gonna like turn the music down to like non-existent, practically. And then bolster the main audio so that we can actually hear. Okay. Let me actually also get into the server. I just suddenly realized I wasn't doing that. Oh god. The rain. Okay. Wow, rain looks so depressing. What was this? Everyone with favor in mind, out and around diorite on the edge of the circle so you guys know where to place the rest. What else stuff mined out in the double chest at the top where all the sand is? Okay, Lego plays, Lucas A. Okay. Your base pillager outpost next time, the mob grinder. Alright. Yeah, sure. Well, thank you, Lucas Plays. That was very kind of you. Hey, Space. How are y'all? Okay. So, first of all, welcome everybody. Welcome to Looted Water. Welcome, Keezer. Any faces I don't recognize. Hey, Systematic BGSD. Just save you from Wilbur Soot. Being Wilbur Suited. Been there for 10 minutes, almost went insane. Wow, what happened? Oh, hey, Sam. I do not understand. Okay, so this is the center point, by the way. This is what I had this here for. Okay, so while I listen to Hermetic Locke's, I don't know, crazy life experiences. Hey, MH. Hey, Keezer. Hey, Super Duper. Hey, Eddie Nochong. So yeah, while I listen to that, I'm going to be detailing all of this. Also, damn, it is dark as all hell. Oh well. Avio played on TPG in Greece with the fifth column. How'd you miss that? Yeah, that was a while ago. They did that with Sky Mason.
Hello everybody, it's me, DigMC, and welcome back to another video of the DigCast. Today, special guest, Hermetic Lock. Say hi.
Hello everybody.
So for those of you that don't know, Herm is known as the player for creating unique experiences. I think FitMC once said that's kind of your thing.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. So founder of the Spawn Masons, founder of Guardsmen, done loads of cool community shit over the years, and it's quite a good time to have you on this episode because last episode we had Negative Entropy, and these two kind of have like obviously Hermetic Lock founded the Spawn Masons and Negative runs it like nowadays, and Herm watched that podcast and left a comment being like, oh yeah, Negative Views kind of cool, like blah blah blah. So it's good to have you on. So I think we're gonna open up here with a bit of a juicy question. So obviously we've established that your kind of overall or what you're known for in 2B2T is creating unique experiences, right? Which I assume you do for the enjoyment of like others, right?
Like the enjoyment of having fun with people, in other words?
Yeah, essentially. So do you think, or to what extent, is this a reflection of the real world, Hermetic Lock?
It's 100% a reflection. The way that I act in-game is basically the way that I act in the real world.
Yeah, I can attest to that.
So you like starting... Because obviously in the real world you can't start block game projects, but you do things... So basically you get enjoyment from other people from giving other people enjoyment, essentially.
Yeah, from giving other people enjoyment, and also, starting my own personal projects, whatever they might be.
Oh shit! I forgot to start the timer. Hold on. Just the count.
It's nice to see another content creator who doesn't have the
Okay, cool. Right.
their head on straight sometimes.
Okay, so fair enough. And has that always been? So obviously, you say that's kind of a part of who you are in the real world, creating cool things for people to do, allowing other people to have fun. Is that when you first joined 2B? Was that like your calling? Did you kind of know it was going to be something where you were going to start cool things, or did you kind of just join like every other new fad, being like, oh yeah, I'll escape spawn, see what happens?
Well, I mean, when I joined 2B2T, it was right in the middle of the Russia War, 2016, and during that time period, I don't think anybody was coming in thinking that they would establish themselves and, set up a reputation on the server, because it wasn't a very welcoming environment. So the only thing that I really had set out to do was escape spawn with Deloaded, who I joined at the same time with.
Do you think it's kind of a modern 2B2T sort of thing where becoming a big player is kind of seen as a goal, and kind of a thing started by FitMC, because that's what a lot of new players aspire to do, is start something and being a FitMC video, and obviously back then that wasn't the case. So do you think that joining 2B2T for the purpose of becoming something, do you think that's a fairly new concept?
No, I don't think it's a new concept at all. Even in 2016, people were doing this sort of thing. Fit was much smaller. At the point, it was like you try to be in a Camping Rusher video, or some mix between the two. But definitely during 2017, you start to see a shift where people are like actual Fit fans. I mean, I guess that was 2016 too. Anybody that was team veteran that wasn't an actual old player was more of a Fit fan than a Rusher fan. But I don't think that that's a new thing. I think that people join 2B2T because, as opposed to other multiplayer worlds, the things that happen here can actually get noticed by a worldwide audience. So recorded. I think that attracts. Yeah, they get recorded down. You can end up on a wiki page, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
Your normal mom and pop server just doesn't have that. So I think that's what attracts people from different servers to 2B, not necessarily because there's glory about being in a Fit video, but because when you're spending time in Minecraft, you want to be able to share your projects with the world, and when you do interesting things on 2B2T, you're able to do that.
Okay, yeah. And like,
that's a pretty.
So nowadays, because obviously you do see a lot of it's kind of the Fitfag dream, right? You join 2B2T to make a name for yourself. So you're saying that's always been the case. It's just nowadays you go about it for not go about it for a different way, but the actual material goal is different, i.e. being in a FitMC video as opposed to like being known about in the community.
Yeah, I think that's about right. I mean, the audience is much larger than it was before, but it's also harder to do things that haven't been done yet, right? Like, you can't just mine to the world border and expect to get a video on it, right? So we have to constantly push the envelope now.
And do you think that it's becoming more and more of a... because obviously 2B2T, I think you have this same opinion as me and quite a lot of other people have heard you talk about it, or some people mention you in relation to it, that 2B2T is basically a social game. Do you think that's become ever more so the case, as obviously we've been stuck on 1.12, and the things you can actually do within the game, like all the boxes have been ticked, so now the only thing you can do to be creative and be noticed is do things with people, right?
2B2T is a set of Discord servers, and new ones constantly appear, and we all happen to play on the same Minecraft server. But the majority of communication happens via Discord, and nobody actually uses in-game chat to get to know one another, right? So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that it's primarily a social game. Even when you're building like a base, right? the aim of that is, you have a place to run and jump around with your friends. And maybe you're in VC at the same time.
I think 80% of my time at every base has just been spent jumping and running on like blocks.
Yep.
Well, the point of, there's definitely a curve between like, you start a base, right, and the energy level is high and people are building things, and then you build enough to the point where you can run and jump around and there's things to run and jump around in, and then the building slows down. So really, one could argue, and I like to argue, that the point of building bases is to create an interesting space for
Music's
you
too
to
loud,
run and
Universal.
jump around in. And once you've like got that, you're pretty much done. Everything else is extra.
Move on to the next one.
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, we'll definitely touch on that a lot later when we
okay.
talk about your world
My game
famous
sounds
spawn
are too
base.
high.
But going back to kind of your first few days on, not days on 2B2T, that's done, but first sort of your initial exposure to 2B2T. I'm right in saying you found out a bit about it from Russia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw the Russian,
So when you
Russian
joined
video.
2B2T, did you have like a set of goals that you wanted to accomplish? Like these can be like fit faggy, like, oh, I want to go to the world border, blah blah blah, or they can be, I want to start a group, I want to be known. Like, did you have any goals?
Well, so in every other server that I had played on multiplayer wise, I would rise to, the top of the food chain, so to speak. Mostly because of just social interaction, not necessarily because of like, I make the prettiest builds or anything, but bringing people together in interesting ways has always kind of been something that I've enjoyed doing in Minecraft. And so that was kind of a goal. Actually, there's a book written like a month or so after I joined 2B2T. Might have been like maybe the fourth time that I logged in, because it was really hard to get into the queue back then. It wasn't like there was no prio queue. It was just everybody's like waiting in this big thing, and you have to like refresh. I don't know if you remember that, Dig, but it was like
No,
kind
I
of
didn't play
horrific
back
for a
then.
couple
Was
a
this
couple months.
was this pre-veteran queue as well?
Yeah, pre-veteran
Oh
queue.
shit! Okay.
Like it was brutal. But so around the fourth time I logged in, I actually made a book, and I dedicated it to the Great Invisible Brotherhood of 2B2T, and whatever.
Weird.
And, it was like my idea to create some kind of organization, some kind of club that would last for a while and would attract interesting players.
Okay, so you
He
from the
succeeded.
offset, you always had that vision of you want to kind of start a group, to put it in simple terms, because of things you've done on previous servers, which are like
Yeah.
what were kind of?
I-
Did you have any groups on like previous servers, like faction servers? Did you have like
Oh, yeah.
factions, or whatever?
Oh yeah, definitely. Deloaded and I met each other on a faction server.
Oh,
I had
cool.
a group called Imagination, and we eventually changed that to Dawn Fear after he built like a city. He had griefed my base, which wasn't much, and he built a huge city on top of it. And he was like, hey, this is like the most powerful faction on the server. Why don't you just absorb me and I'll build for you, and then we can call it Dawn Fear if you're impressed by my building skills. And I was like, sure, why the heck not? What does Dawn Fear mean, by the way? I had not met Deloaded yet, so I had all sorts of questions about the whole thing.
What does Don Fear mean?
He had thought that it meant father's gift, but it doesn't mean anything from what I've
No, it's just a cool sounding thing.
read. I guess so.
Hold on, let me just take a second. I need to turn streaming mode on because I was getting audible notifications when people were leaving. That was done. Disable sentences. Okay, cool. Sorry about that.
Anyway, and so 2B was just a good fit for me as a player because I would hack on the other servers, but I do it in like, an incognito way, right? Like I'd try not to get banned for it, so I'd be pretty sneaky about when I'd, turn on my exploits. Deloaded didn't even know that I used hacks until maybe 5 months after I had met him, and I just decided to boat fly with him randomly.
Nice.
Wild.
Kind of fun. And so Tubi was a good fit because I wouldn't have to hide, my hacked clients.
So clearly you'd always been kind of looking for more, sort of like you weren't happy being constrained by the limits of these faction servers.
Right, and any interesting exploits I was on top of. So
Yeah.
definitely.
Are you like you big into your like Minecraft dev stuff, like coding, all that bullshit?
I've made one
exploiting.
Minecraft mod, but Java's not really for me. I do web development, software engineering by trade, but
Okay.
I haven't. I feel like if I'm going to be coding, it's not a good use of my time to be doing that for
Sure.
Minecraft-related
Yeah,
things.
There's other people for that, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So surely there's like throughout your Minecraft experience, I'm gathering, you've always kind of gravitated towards, as you're known for, bringing people together, right? So what is it about that's like? Is that kind of like ego's a bit of a strong word, but is that kind of an ego thing because it makes you feel like important when you're like in control of people, or when you're known for doing something creative? Like,
Yes, Saturnius, you're tripping. I'm sorry. I'm listening to the DigCast. Hermetic Lock is
quite
being
good.
interviewed.
Or is it more of like more? I don't know. I'm trying hard to articulate this. Is it more so like you gain enjoyment from seeing other people to enjoy? Like, how far along that spectrum are you? Are you more like, oh yeah,
So
I like feeling like a leader?
it's not an ego thing. I just believe that if you don't play with others, first of all, right? It's just single player with chat, and there's really no point in paying $20 a month to go onto the server. But to that end, if you're going to play with others, well, who are you going to play with, and what are you going to do? And if you don't like what other people are doing, then the only way to have fun is sometimes to create your own fun. And so what I just kind of did is I would start these projects, and people would become interested in those projects. It wasn't necessarily like I'm inviting all these people before I start. It's I'm already doing something interesting, and other people want to do something interesting too. So it's about creating your own fun. It's not necessarily an ego thing. It's like when I'm playing on the server, I want to be doing something, and it's more interesting if others are doing that something with you.
And you didn't think the options provided on Tubi at the time were kind of suiting your needs? Because I know you joined Voco for a bit, right? I heard you mention.
Oh my God, he was in
they
Voco?
were cool. There was some inspiration for Spawn Mason type activity with Voco. The first time I killed back to Spawn and joined Voco, they were doing like this Spawn build. It was like their HQ. And I had
Man.
never done something like that before on Tubi. Like 6 or 7 players just walking around Spawn doing their thing. And then even the Fourth Reich came and like started trying to like blow people up and stuff with crystals. It was like totally fun, and it probably gave me some inspiration to not just have a group, but to have a group that would meet together on the server at the same time, because there's something to be said for that too. 2b2t is way more interesting when there are 30 people standing in the same 4 chunks.
Mm-hmm.
Asynchronous build where you log in, you build a few things, nobody else is online, you come back, log back in, and there's like more stuff. It's way more interesting when everybody's online at the same time.
Oh, of course. So what made you unhappy with Voco to the point where you kind of realised, oh, I want to do my own thing? Like, why didn't you just stay in Voco?
Well,
Voco was a
So,
shithole.
we built where we're actually at right now, like
Dawnfield
behind
10.
us. Yeah, Dawnfield 10 started off as a Voco base.
Okay,
And,
I never knew.
Yeah, so when Dealer and I came in, we were like, well, we need to have some protection, and we need to meet players. So that was really why we joined Voco, was that we could build, a new Dawn here, because we had different cities and other servers. I had been a part of at least 2 before this, I think, and then Voco drama happens, right? This used to be like the capital of Voco. right? All the coolest
Voco
Voco
main
players
base,
would come
yeah.
out here because it was like really cool.
Sure.
But then Cultstead would notice, hey, you know, there's really no Vortex coalition symbols. You guys are like, you know, using your own flags and stuff. And I think there was a little bit of animosity that began where, you know, there's like a separation of culture. And a lot of the other Vortex coalition folks became aware of that, of course. And some of them maybe preferred Dawn Fear a little bit more than Voco. And so I decided to capitalize on that opportunity when Cultsnid kind of showed a weak point in leadership. He had like done this thing that was like rather culty. He's like telling everybody to accept him as like their Lord and Savior, and if he didn't, then they'd get kicked from the group. And at that time, I was in charge of the Vortex Coalition website. So
I remember
I was
this.
like, you know, we can probably like coup the entire Vortex Coalition.
Oh my god.
right now.
Yeah, he destroyed their website or whatever it was. I remember hearing about this. I was like, who is this hermetic lock and why is the Voco website on fire? Oh my god, we all watched this happen unfold. That was so funny.
If we play our cards right. And so that's what we did. That was the first time that Voco like actually died. It got revived and they had their phase 3 thing. But you know, Dawn Fear is the reason why phase 2 went away. But I eventually like repaired my relationship with the Vortex Coalition folks. But a lot of them did actually just end up staying with Dawn Fear, and some of the more interesting ones also became Spawn Masons as well.
Okay, so was Cultsnid like, because from an outsider looking in, you always see, or back when Voco was kind of a thing, you always saw it as obviously they were LARPing as this like communist like group, like sort of like Armor Smith, but not as like retarded, whatever. So
Right.
was that not just a show to put onto new players, or was that actually like did the leader of Voco, Cultsnid, genuinely try to lead the group in that manner?
Every now and then Cultsnid would really go off the deep end. And so we just took advantage of one of those moments and, you know, converted everybody into the Dawn Fear Discord as opposed to being in the the Voco one. Changed the Vortex Coalition website to be about Dawn Fear, all that kind of stuff.
And so why didn't Don Fuel? Why did Spawn Masons happen? Why didn't it? Why wasn't it just Don Fuel happening
Right.
ever after?
Well, so, you know, you can't do a coup like that and expect that no repercussions are going to happen. So a day or two after that, you know, we couped Voco. Cultsnid leaked the chords on the Reddit to the base we're standing at. And about 30 minutes later, Bubba J came to the base here and just blew the whole thing up in front of us. I actually have footage of Bubba J arriving and blowing it up. We were in the middle of doing like a final base tour video, and Bubba J showed up halfway through. And it was kind of crazy because we had only seen Bubba J in fit videos, you know? It's like, what the
It's
hell?
legendary.
This
player.
like, yeah.
Who is Bubba J and why is he at
exactly.
my
It's
base?
Like, this, like legendary players actually here blowing up our base right now. And there's nothing that we can do about it.
Yeah,
He
fuck.
flew under the nether and got here in like, I don't know. Yeah, like 30 minutes. We're
How far? out?
pretty far out. We're like 650k out. This
Oh,
is
wow.
when there weren't really any like speed exploits besides if you could fly with the Elytra under the nether, then yeah, you're good.
So, a select few had a very, had it easy, but most other people just entity speeding on horse. And that's the
Right.
thing with like 2B. It used to be so much like the map used to be so much bigger because things would just take way more time to get onto. And obviously in recent years, all the Elytra bypasses and boat fly, blah blah blah, has kind of shrunk it down a lot.
And so, yeah, I mean, definitely. So from there, the base gets destroyed, and I'm like, well, we're back at spawn, basically. So I start this little spawn base, and it was going to be your camera account left. Is that
Yeah.
okay?
That is really funny, sorry.
Okay. So I went back to spawn, and I was like, okay, let me start a little spawn-based project, and maybe we can recruit new people to build with us.
And
That
this is
kind
what
of the
was this
point.
world famous spawn base, or was this after that?
Yeah, this is the world famous
Okay.
spawn base. So this is like
Ooh.
January of 2017, and the idea was just, okay, I'm going to build this base, and I'm just going to tell everybody the chords, and they can come if they want to. And anytime it gets griefed, we'll just rebuild it with the same people that are there. And it was totally fun, and it attracted a lot of interesting people. And that's kind of how I met with like Tavix and Tim McNuke and all those interesting individuals from the Fourth Reich. So I ended up joining that group, and we did a couple collaborations with Dawn Fear and the Fourth Reich. There's like an airbender base and like random stuff, and that was pretty fun. And every now and then, we'd go back and we'd hang out at the Hermetic Box spawn base. And I met so many great and interesting people that way. I started a little YouTube series where I'd like record progress on the base, show who griefed it and what we're doing with it next and all that stuff. And then it became a meeting point of sorts for just people like do things. Even Fit came by a couple of times. This was before he really even knew who I was.
Yeah, could you give a little like TLDR just what the world famous spawn base is? Because obviously I and a lot of other people know what it is, but some people might not know what you're on about.
Sure. Well, the funny thing about it is that when I started it, it was neither world famous nor I guess that the only thing, it wasn't world famous at all. It was just this random thing that I had created that I called world famous for really no reason other than to, get people a little more interested in the project, right? As a meme, if you will. But yeah, the idea, like I said earlier, was that the chords would be public. I'd record videos there. Anybody could come and do anything that they wanted. They could build or they could grief. And most people would come to build, and then we'd all, go to bed and would wake up, and things would all be like destroyed. But the same group of players would keep coming back to rebuild. And so it was there that I got the idea to call everybody the Spawn Builders Guild. That's what I called it. I called it the Spawn Builders. The Spawn Builders Guild. But even on the signboard it said, our nickname will be the Spawn Masons, and that was just a funny play on, Freemasonry and, Spawn and all that kind of stuff. It'd be like a little secret society. It was actually more inspired through the Log Masons, which was like a hermitcraft group in I think season 5 or 4. They had like monopoly on wood or something, but they were like a little secret society, and I was like, ooh, I could do something like that in Minecraft as well. And so the inspiration came partly from that and partly because I'm a Freemason in real life as well.
Oh, you actually?
Yeah, I've been a Freemason for a little over half a decade.
Oh, that's sick. Right, interesting. Okay, so what, you go to like the fucking weekly meetings and shit, or like what do you do?
Monthly.
Monthly.
Actually, the reason why the Spawn Masons exist is because I was recruited by the Illuminati to establish a presence in Minecraft, and so
right.
I was paid
What?
to
Can you elaborate on this, please?
Kidding. I'm totally kidding.
The Illuminati, man.
Always the Joker.
Is that like
Herm.
just a kind of cool like network of people then in real life? The Freemasons, like good for connections and shit.
It's good in connections, but that's not the purpose of it, right? It's only good in connections in as much as joining any new group of people would be, right? When you know more people, your network expands. But the aim of Freemasonry is not to get more business deals. Right.
So what is like? I know this is a 2B podcast, but I'm just genuinely interested because this is just like I've never really I've always seen it as this kind of like giant spaghetti monster worshipping. I know it's not that, but that's kind of the image they give off. So I'm just intrigued by the fact that it's what they do basically.
Right. I mean, the basic concept that they do is they take good men and they make them better. There's a longer explanation I could give.
Sure.
But, it's maybe an ancient organization. We don't know how long it's really been around for, which is kind of interesting. It's like, how can you track the beginning of human civilization? We don't know. It's lost to history. The same thing happened with Freemasonry. We know that in 1717, the Grand Lodge of England combined 3 different Masonic lodges and unified them under one Grand Lodge. So they were obviously practicing before 1717. We know that there was a manuscript printed in as early as 1380 that talked a little bit about Masonic lodges and their functions. So we know that they existed before 1380, but that's the earliest document that we can find. We really aren't supposed to write things down, so it's crazy that that document even existed. But beyond that, nobody knows. There's a whole bunch of theories, right? That it comes from Adam, from biblical times, King Solomon, and there's the whole temple legend. And then there's people think that we might have came from the Knights Templar. And then there's just, the theory of learned men joining operative Mason guilds and, embedding different philosophical meanings to the tools that they were using. But, it's definitely an interesting...
Yeah.
Interesting
it's something I'll be interested in researching just for shits and giggles. Hopefully some guys made a nice YouTube documentary on it. Yeah, okay. So
wild.
Did you just talk? Did you finish with your how you founded the Spawn Masons, or is that kind of still going
on? No, I don't even think we really touched upon.
We didn't start it. Okay, all right, so cool. Founding the Spawn Masons. How did that? Because you said the name was inspired from your world famous Spawn base and the people you met there. So what was the spark? What made you make up a Discord server and be like, yup, this is what we're doing, this is my idea, let's execute it?
Okay. I'm sitting in a Discord call with a guy named iTavix. And
Tavix.
This person named Puffy Clouds, I think. And Puffy Clouds was just like a fan of Tavix's channel and my channel. They would play every now and then, but they weren't really a 2v2t player. But they had suggested, you guys are so powerful already, you should just create a secret group of people. And I'd already had the name Spawn Masons from doing the Spawn Builders Guild. And so I was like, this would be a really interesting thing to do on 2v2t. And so Tavix and I are talking about this a little bit, and I set off and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna create a little lodge and we're gonna figure out how to actually do this. So I make a little lodge. I'm like, this is cool. I'm like, now I just need to come up with an initiation ceremony. And so I write an initiation ceremony. And I created Discord shortly after that. And I started inviting just people that I had been playing with. And the first person that was able to show up and do something with me was a guy named Jumbo Warrior, who came from Goodwill Corporation or Goodwill Trading Company. They were another group that kind of merged with Dawn Fear for a period of time. It was the Spawn Masons were a combination of some Voco people, the Fourth Reich, Dawn Fear, and Goodwill Trading. So I invite Jumbo. He comes, we find a plot of land, and Jumbo and I start building the lodge based on the schematic that I came up with in a creative world. I then initiated Jumbo, and then I had Jumbo initiate me.
Wild.
And we just kind of went from there. Every week we would, create more lodges and initiate more people into the group. But that was, the whole point was we wanted to have a group that had something special about being a member. There are a lot of groups on 2b2t where it's when you join, the only thing that happens is you join a Discord.
Yeah.
And we wanted it to be a little bit more important than that. So we created, a ceremony, and everybody would come together and build and hang out for a while and welcome the new member to the group. And that was really something that hadn't been done on 2B before. And so I think the novelty of it appealed to a lot of people, or at least piqued their curiosities, especially if they'd see us, with our dragon heads on, doing our thing, right? So there's a lot of interest there, and we would build these lodges at random bases too. There was one that was like 15 million blocks out, and even every now and then YouTubers would like stumble on it that weren't a part of the group. Eventually, I think all the major YouTubers did eventually join the Spawn Masons, but before they'd be like, there'd be a video where they'd run into the lodge and they'd be like, "What the heck is this Spawn Masons thing?" But
I want to say
was
Salsi
getting
won
the
with that.
YouTubers into the Masons a PR thing, or did you genuinely just like thought they were cool and wanted them to be in the group just for shits and giggles?
It wasn't. We didn't really need PR.
But just
I
kind
guess
of like
we
a
got it
flex.
afterwards.
Right.
I mean, back in 2017, Fit was a different kind of player. I think he was still even swearing in some of his videos and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So Fit was just one of the boys.
Yep, I remember that.
It was
a fun guy,
fun. We
yeah.
had a great time. He showed up to all the meetings and stuff and contributed well. Taraga Dude was in there as well.
Oh, rip Taraga, dude. He no longer
so
does
But yeah,
Minecraft.
I think that kind of made the community at large feel a certain way about the Masons and held us up to probably a higher esteem
100%.
than
Yeah.
we would have been.
Yeah, so it sounds like you really kind of hit the ground running with it, like, because a lot of groups don't do anything for 2 months and then start getting active, but you guys seem from the get-go,
Yeah,
you were good.
it was really interesting for me just as a new player to, join 2B2T during the Russia War and then create a group that eventually the leader of Team Veteran would join, right?
Yeah.
But the only reason why it works like that is because when I created the group, I was like, we're just going to treat everybody like adults. I didn't want to have the whole Voco thing where it's like Coltsnit is on the top. I would have like an administrative rank and I'd be able to, make changes if I wanted to. But largely it would be like democratic. You could come and go as you please. I wouldn't like force you to like do anything that you didn't want to do. It was just, it'd be just a group where people could hang out and be around, be themselves. There's one rank in the Discord. You're either a Spawn Mason or you're not a Spawn Mason.
Did you experience kind of like a lot of pushback because you were a new player? Because obviously now it doesn't fucking matter, right? Like everyone starts groups at whatever age, in terms of how long they've been playing the server. But back then there was much more of a kind of old new player divide with the rushers and veterans. Like that was, I get the sense that was a lot more real than new fags and old fags are today. Like there was actually new players didn't like old players and old players didn't like new players to an extent, right? Obviously it's all block game lot, but did you experience any pushback from people because, oh, you're a new fag, like why is a rusher making a group?
Oh, he
Anything
definitely
like that?
did.
I think that we had demonstrated some degree of credibility through, having this 10th city here, right? Everybody had kind of seen that. They'd seen my spawn base. And so I guess there was some level of respect that I had earned among the older players for actually going around doing things. And I had already been, talking to them for a while. So I didn't really get any pushback for being a new player, but it was definitely just something that was interesting.
I will say that not that it really ultimately mattered, but no, there was definite division for Herm being new. For the longest time, when Alpha and I joined the Spawn Masons, Alpha was against it. And I was just like, I'm just doing this for shits and giggles. I mean, I have to take it that seriously, Alpha. And then I was like, well, I might want to invite Herm out to Space Valk. And he's like, Alpha's like, no, he's a new fag, Jack. Why are you doing this? And I'm like, well, Herm seems cool. He didn't seem bad or anything. Why not? Why not give him a chance? I think we had already moved by that point, and we were just like, fuck it, we'll move again if we have to, And Herm ended up being a great addition, so I mean, it ultimately didn't matter. Like, we saw who he was when we were in the Spawn Masons, That was good enough.
Because of that drama between new and old players at the time. a lot of people will like try to tell you that the Rusher War was faked by Fit and Rusher and all that stuff, and that none of it was real. But it was very real. It would be like you'd be walking around spawn, and if you didn't have a vet shield, somebody else would come around with a vet shield and kill you. You'd go to farms and there'd be flags up with Team Vet or Team Rusher banners. Everybody was either on one side or the other, and if you showed that you were on neither side or the wrong side, you would have been hunted for it. It was a really strange time to be on the server.
That's never really been replicated since.
No, not in the same way.
Because it's always been, the 2B community's been split up into so many different factions like now.
Well, if for whatever reason things settle down and we do see a sort of return to form for 2B2T, if that ever happens, you might just see if there ends up being another, invasion, of course. There would have to be another invasion for that to happen, for that kind of division to once again resurge. It's just not likely to happen because, 2B2T is just so divided now. And there's no way to know who's who anymore. The ocean has just become so large, you can't know every corner of it. That's the basic feeling that I get. You can try to know people, but there's an endless wave of people to know. And so, I don't know. It's a little bit of a fool's errand in my assessment of it.
Days, and it's been like that since the Russia War. That the Russia War is really the only time in 2B's history where the player base has actually been divided to a 50-50 split. Although obviously it was basically 90% of the player base were new, but a lot of new players identified with Team Veterans. I didn't play back then, I don't really know, but it seems like
that's it. You had to find your ink sacks, and that was difficult. But if you could find a couple of squids to kill, then you were in the club.
Yeah. Craft the veteran shield, of course.
Well, that was one of Fit's stipulations that you figure it out.
It was very strange to have all the interesting players from the Rusher War end up in the Spawn Masons. Even Sato 86 became a member, and that was maybe one of the weirder people just to get in the group, just because Sato was made to be such a legendary player, and now he's just chilling in our VC every day, right?
Yeah. Obviously, you joined 2B2T when you're already quite old. Mind if I ask how old you?
24.
24, yeah. So you were fairly mature when you joined 2B2T.
I'm almost 10 years older than him.
We joined when they're 13, 14. So did you kind of, even though you were older, did you still have that outlook of seeing these players who you'd heard
had
about
to have been 18,
in
19,
FMC videos or
maybe
Russia's
17
videos or whatever, and seeing them as these kind of God amongst men type of shit? Did you still get that?
It's not that you think of them as gods amongst men. It's the FitMC show was a reality show with stars in it, right?
That's true, actually, yeah.
And because it's Minecraft in particular, you're not necessarily thinking about the people behind these things, right? Everybody knows the name Pop Bob, but you wouldn't recognize their voice if they were to speak to you, right? Unless you knew that they were Pop Bob. And so, I remember the first time I spoke to them, I was like, this is weird. Pop Bob is just a real person living in our reality, right?
He's not using the thunder hack.
Right. There's just something strange about Pop Bob being real, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Do you like to see yourself as or do you like to think that maybe in 5 or 10 years, when the next FitMC comes around to document 2B's history, you'll be one of the main characters?
I think I already am, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't mean that from an egotistical standpoint or anything.
No,
but
not at all.
just based on the sheer number of views that my projects have gotten. I think that I kind of entered the FitMC reality show around 2017, and it's kind of stayed that way ever since. Nowadays, I don't really need to like try to advertise things. Things are noteworthy now just because I'm doing them, which is a different shift than what it's been before. Right? Like if any new player starts a new base or does like creates a new group, it's no big deal. But if I do it, then Fit's probably going to make a video about it, right? It's like that kind of a difference. I don't have to like ask for PR.
Holy shit. What?
Sorry to interrupt, boys, but I just want to let you know that we have a Patreon. By actively supporting the podcast, you will be able to attend our interviews live in-game at the studio and in Discord. By being in-game, you will be able to interact with the world outside and in front of the podcast studio, which essentially means you can just build some massive penises behind the window. Your name will also be added to the supporter signboard, and you'll get some Discord perks as well. So I hope to all see you in the studio soon. Now, back to the podcast.
Nice.
Okay, so let's say you weren't the famous Hermetic Lock, right, or whatever, that sounds really cringe, but let's say you weren't who you are, and you just discovered 2B2T, okay, like in 2022, never heard of it before, you've been playing faction servers all your life, you're like, you want to kill yourself, blah blah blah, and you just find out about 2B2T. What kind of challenges do you think you would face to get to a similar point of where you are now that you didn't have to face, or are different from the ones that you faced when you did it the first time round in 2017?
Well, the good thing now is that you can just message people and they'll respond to you, I think, for the most part. Back when I joined, you weren't really able to get responses from any of like the interesting players, but now I think you can kind of just message whoever you want and they'll probably reply. But if I wanted to become a well-known player in 2022 and I had just joined, I'd join the server, I'd install Discord if I hadn't installed Discord before, and I'd try to get into at least one 2B2T Discord as soon as possible and enter voice chats with different players. Just to be a part of that community, and you try to get into a couple of other different 2B2T Discords, and just enter voice chats with people. They don't have to be well-known players. They can just be, normal people on the server.
Yeah, just get your name out there, basically.
Right, just so that people know who you are. Then, I would probably go out somewhere. It doesn't need to be far, and make a base of some kind. It doesn't need to be crazy. It does need to be like decent-ish. And when you find, when you hit the point where it's like good enough, just post it on the Reddit. Probably the uncensored Reddit, because that's where most of the 2B players actually will look for things. And then, that might be it for a little while. Maybe you do it again. But eventually what's going to happen is people are going to know you and the builds that you've created. You'll get invited to more Discord servers. You'll get invited to more groups. And if they see that you can actually build and you haven't griefed things, then, you'll probably become respected pretty soon. That was how you would do our recruitment for the Spawn Masons back in the day. I'd be looking at Reddit and I'd be like, who's an interesting builder? Maybe we could bring them into our group, right? That's how we found Crowbar.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Cool.
Did you find him from the mic?
No. We found it, it was it was his first build that he'd done. He just posted to the Reddit. Actually, what's really funny, a couple of us were looking through the old Spawn Mason archive server today, and Crowbar would constantly be sending us these crazy pictures of these builds that he was working on, and nobody would even reply to them or acknowledge that he had sent them. There is a time when he sent a screenshot of the full Moke build, and nobody said a thing.
People just assume it's a creative build or something.
I don't know. We didn't we didn't notice somehow. I don't know.
Damn.
Why.
That man's
it was drowned out. His build pictures were probably being drowned out by FitMC shit posts.
Yeah, I mean that's always been the state of r/2b2t, right? It's just shit memes.
Oh no, I mean FitMC is posting stupid shit in the Discord.
Oh, in the Discord. Oh, right, okay. Fuck, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, maybe people did just kind of see it and assume, oh, that's a cool single-player build or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we didn't acknowledge it. I don't know why.
Yeah, but backtracking a little bit.
That's disappointing to hear.
It's funny
wow.
you mentioned the fact that you wouldn't grief anything, because that's I think a big mistake that a lot of new players kind of fall into, is joining 2B2T and instantly going out there, finding random like fucking old ruins to grief, right, that are public, posting it on the subreddit expecting like you to get clout for being the next pop bob, and then it just turns out that you get hate from like the whole server, and then you end up quitting because nobody wants to hang out with you basically. So I think that's quite a common fuck up that a lot of new players do. So yeah, it's funny you mention that.
Can confirm I have fucked up in this very same manner. I just did it in years before it was ever even like a thing. So I could have also fallen into that trap now that I think about it. But thankfully it ultimately didn't matter. I still to this day, for the first base I ever griefed, I still to this day do not know who the hell that belonged to. And we probably will never know. Oh well.
Right today is if you've been around for a little bit before, and then you create a group that's like centered around griefing.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way to like actually like keep it going. I don't know. I think BSB does that. Obviously, there's like the fifth column now. Back in my day, it was the Fourth Reich.
Fourth Reich, yeah. The OGs. Before that was what? Fucking Nerds Inc., I guess?
No, yeah, I guess, it was like Jared.
Yeah.
And then before Jared, it was Pop.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, though. If you do it right, BSB's been going on for, what, like almost 4 years now? So, yeah, I guess if you do the... But you can't just grief, though. That's the thing. Like, if you just grief,
you gotta
end
have,
up
like,
just
your own
fucking
stuff,
yourself.
too.
Yeah. It's kind of just like shooting yourself in the foot. Because
yeah.
as we established earlier, 2v2t is a social game, and with a social game comes social like consequences to your actions. So, yeah, a lot of people think 2v2t doesn't have consequences. It does. Yeah. So going back to kind of
those types of people ride a certain kind of bus, and it's not very long, which is paradoxical considering how many people need to be on that bus. But I guess that's neither here nor there.
This sort of beginning of the Spawn Masons, when did it kind of transition from these weekly lodges, and well I know it never stopped doing weekly lodges, but when did you also kind of delve into big bases? Right?
It took maybe a month and a half before we did our first base. There was like this little thing called the Kingdom Project, and not a whole lot came out of it, but we had fun. We did a whole bunch of stuff. I'm like trying to remember like the early days and the bases that we made. There were a couple like really nice ones. Falcatavia was one. There was a couple other Dawn Fears. We kind of absorbed Omega City at one point. There's another one or two also that were like quite large at the time. But Space Jam was probably our main
I loved Space Jam
base of like that year.
That was an end base, right?
Yeah, it was an end base, and we had like a private boat fly hack, and so we were able to bring different animals, like 40,000, 70,000 blocks into the end. And the crown jewel of animals that were brought was a polar bear, which were notoriously difficult to get into the end because you can only fly baby polar bears or in a boat. If they grow up, they fall out. So you have to be
quick.
You have to be really quick.
That's cool. Getting polar bears though, nice.
But yeah.
Damn, I didn't know about that.
I think it's important too to talk about the philosophy of the Spawn Masons too, because I think that's what set the group apart a little bit as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, you guys were kind of unique in the shit that you do, and even to this day, the group gets a lot of. Obviously, its main criticism is, it's LARP, but that LARP is what sets it out from the rest, right? It's what gives it its character.
Right. And so when I created the Spawn Masons, I set out to find some kind of, I don't know, philosophy that could be applicable to the server. And so, I took inspiration from Freemasonry, which takes like the different tools that are used, or just like mathematical formulas of the universe, and we put different meanings into things based on that. And so, one of the things that the Spawn Masons do is we build lodges and then we grief them afterwards, right? So there's like, death and creation and like the same thing. And the Spawn Masons live in between, the creative and destructive forces.
The middle of the yin and the yang.
Right, that kind of unification of opposites. So that was kind of the foundational idea. Eventually I'd come up with, the sacred number of the Spawn Masons, right? 2147, which is an abbreviation of, I think it's the 16 bit integer max that you can have, 2.147 billion, which I'm sure you've seen in your time playing Minecraft Dig. But for those of you that aren't aware, it's the max digit that you can have in Minecraft. And so, if days, for instance, hit that integer, they reset, essentially.
Oh, wow.
And so 2147 is the abbreviation of that. And it's that number itself has creative and destructive qualities. Maps, for instance. You hit the max map integer, you break maps until you hit that integer again. So, just all sorts of different fun little philosophies that we kind of embedded into the Masons.
Yeah, you're big on your symbolism, huh?
Yeah, and then the last thing, and this is a first-time reveal. They're going to be upset about this one. We had this thing called a Mason Shuffle. And,
I remember that.
This would be like, how did you identify another Spawn Mason if you're just out and about, right? Like in the real life, Freemasons have like secret handshakes and grips and words and stuff. But we would do what's called a Mason Shuffle, which is where we'd like stand and we'd like swap our items around. And actually during Lodge, you'd have to like you'd have to do a Mason Shuffle before you spoke. Like I'd see somebody approach the altar, they'd do a Mason Shuffle, then I'd call on them to speak.
Yeah.
You
Can't be doing that too much nowadays. You get fucking banned for lagging the server.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Actually, dude, we joked so much about that when that was discovered. We were like, dude, the Mason Shuffle was the biggest exploit the whole time.
Yeah.
We had it right there and then.
But, that's quite funny. Yeah.
Shuffling your items back and forth, right? That's also symbolic of like, going from one path towards the other. Right?
Oh, of course, right? Everything is.
So, and then and then in the middle of it, right, is you.
Sure.
Yep.
So
I remember that. He explained it that way.
Okay, so
LARP. It's all
Way back
LARP.
it's all
It's
LARP,
fun.
but that's what gives the Masons their character, I suppose, and that's what, as you've already said, sets them apart. So we've kind of covered the founding of the Masons, and obviously you're not in the Masons anymore, correct? No. So what's kind of like the storyline there? Because obviously Negative Entropy, I had him on 2 weeks ago, last episode, and he kind of explained how you kind of just thought you'd had enough of the Masons and you nuked the Discord, and then the members individually brought it back, and then you joined back, and then you left again. So can you kind of just give us like the whole story? I want clarification. Yeah.
Okay. Let me try and do this as best as I can recall. August 2017, somewhere around that point, Fit and Alpha Computer grief Summermelon, and that was a base that belonged to a Spawn Mason member. Earlier in the year, Spawn Mason members also griefed the other base, Wintermelon. No drama, some drama ensued from that, but it wasn't enough that people really cared. And the main builder at that base, or the person that started it, Toshi, didn't really do much with the main Spawn Masons after that. Until Summermelon got griefed, and then all of a sudden he came back and was like really pissed off because, the whole Masons shouldn't like harm another brother thing. And fair enough, they griefed the base, and it was maybe something that they shouldn't have done. But the amount of arguing that happened because I wouldn't ban Alpha Computer or Fit from the Discord because of it was like kind of atrocious, and I just didn't really want to deal with it. And things would be like mended for a little bit, and then they'd bring it back up. FitMC was forgiven for the most part as he apologized and actually felt kind of bad about what he did for a little while. But Alpha Computer is just like remorseless.
Yeah, a little more on that actually. Alpha did it all on purpose and wanted to grief just to create further division within the Spawn Masons. He was all too happy to do it, and he was like, Jack, you should join me. And I'm like, nah, I've got Space Valk to build. And he's like, okay, well, me and Fit are going to do it. And I'm like, all right, you two have fun. Enjoy your date. And he's like, oh, we will. And then they did. And it stuck in so many people's craws for so long. The whole point was to cause enmity and division. And Alpha succeeded. Alpha, like, there's a reason he was unapologetic. He was successful. And I was like, the Spawn Masons, especially by that time, I was like, Spawn Masons are kind of getting a little out of hand, aren't they? And he's like, Jack, the Spawn Masons are a fucking cult. And I'm like, I don't know that they're a cult, but they're approaching that event horizon. Because there is such a thing as a group that just meets and has fun for the sake of being a group and having fun. And then there is such a thing as going overboard and being too much of a, whatever. And it was getting that way. It truly was getting that way. There were some people in there who took the Mason thing way too fucking seriously. I joined it on a lark. Alpha joined it only because I joined it. And so I was just like, okay, well, I don't really care what you people do, because I was building Space Valk 3. But that... Who the hell keeps giving me golden carrots? I don't have the room for these. Anyway, but that at the end of the day, it didn't matter to me as long as my stuff was okay. And I did enjoy a lot of the drama that the Masons started up, but by October... No, it was August. By August 2017, I was like, all right, this is getting old. Like, it was funny the first 20 minutes that you guys did this. Alpha and Fit, like, trolled the shit out of you. So be it. But that they could not let it go. And then Alpha was like, Jack, we gotta leave. The Spawn Masons are, like, getting out of control. And I'm like, yeah, maybe so. And so then he and I just, like, one night, we just, like, all right, enough of that. And then we log in the next day only to find that Herm nuked the original Discord and that basically everything was all up in smoke. And I was just like, oh dear. Well, I guess it was going to happen anyway. Whatever. And then I just went about my business and still managed to maintain a somewhat good relationship with a lot of the Spawn Masons. To the point where even by 2019, there was a temp map, April 2019 for, April Fools. And a bunch of Spawn Masons were in it. And they invited me into their Discord. And I was like, oh, what are you guys up to? It's been a while since I talked to some of you. And Ain kept warning me, Jack, they know. And I'm like, what? Know what? And he couldn't really, like, tell me, but it was obvious at the time he was trying to warn me about NOCOM. And that, obviously, especially by then, there were Masons who had access to NOCOM as early as, like, about mid-2019-ish. And, of course, because the warning was already too late, realistically, they'd already obtained cords and stuff. There was no stopping any of it, but it was still like a good gesture, I guess. So like, I guess I'm glad I never like burned the bridge fully with the Spawn Masons. I was of the opinion like stay neutral in a lot of that. Don't burn bridges because, well, it doesn't really help you to. But Alpha was like, oh no, these guys need to like, I want to troll them. They take the Spawn Masonry way too seriously. I have to troll them, Jack. And I'm like, all right. Just be a little, self-controlled about it. The next thing I know, they're planning the grief of Summermelon. And I'm like, all right, well, whatever. Don't let this become don't let this have fallout on Space Valk 3. And he's like, oh, don't worry, it won't. You won't be involved. And I'm like, nah, okay. And that was the end of it. Quite funny.
And so, eventually we did do a vote to see if we would kick people out. Fit was voted to stay in the group,
And it was
leader was voted to be.
It was also insinuated that Fit got to stay in, not just because he apologized and was apologetic. It was also because they were like, well, Fit has all the YouTube stuff. Even though I don't think Fit was like really doing YouTube quite like he would end up doing it. But at the time, the Masons were all over that shit. Fit doing YouTube stuff for like a Spawn Mason gathering or what have you was the perfect advertisement for the Masons. And so they didn't want to kick him out. He was worth his weight in gold, basically. And Alpha was just obviously very antagonistic as well. And so they were like, goodbye, Alpha, and they hated him. They hated Alpha for, I don't know, they probably still hate him. It's really quite comedic how you can get under someone's skin like that, and it's entirely because some people just take that shit way too seriously.
Kicked. I was like, okay, fine, you can do that. And then it was just like,
Who the hell put cakes
I was
over
playing
there?
2v2t for way too many hours of my day, and it was just taking up all my time, right? Like, I couldn't really focus on my schoolwork or, strive for a career by spending the amount of time that I was spending on 2v. It felt like I had a full-time job running this group and trying to get these people to get along. And so...
Yep. I know the feeling.
I eventually was like, I need to step down. I don't really want to do this anymore. I just don't have the time for it. And, I put the memo out. If anybody thought that they'd be able to run the group, efficiently, then, they could send me a message. Because up until that point, I was doing basically all the leadership stuff. Like, it was like a true, there's a leader in the group, if that makes sense. And so I was doing all that work and engaging people all the time.
Okay.
So nobody stepped up. Maybe a couple people did, but I just didn't think that they'd be able to keep it going. And so I was in a call with Tavix. I mean, the person I created or, came up with the idea with, really. And, we were talking about, just like the state of the Discord and the group. We were like, this isn't even really fun anymore. And if it's not fun, then why even, bother with it? So I was like, okay, I'm just going to, we'll keep the Discord around, but I'm going to get rid of the group. And what I had hoped would happen was, obviously these people aren't going to stop playing together, but they'll create something new. That's what I had thought would happen anyway. I was like, okay, it might be weird for like a little bit, but the Discord will still be there if there needs to be anything that needs to be found. I knew that I'd probably invite people back just as an archive's sake, which I did do. And, the next thing will happen. Somebody will create a new group, and I'll be free to join that, but not have to deal with, leadership responsibilities. And so for a while, things were quiet, and then Henry and Ain were like, screw it. Let's just recreate the Spawn Masons.
Oh,
and
man,
so
Henry.
They invited everybody to a new Spawn Masons group, and they rebuilt it. And I was like, okay, whatever. I still didn't really have much time to play.
Were you invited to that, by the way? Or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was invited. I don't know if I joined for a little bit. I was like a little bit like, guys, why are you just taking my idea, right? But if they wanted to play and have fun their own way, and that's how they wanted to do it, then sure. What I was kind of concerned about is I didn't want them to like ruin the name, because we had built up a decent reputation at that point, and I didn't want it to get like dragged through the mud based on however they choose to run the group. So they're doing that for a while, and then eventually I'm like, okay, yeah, this is fine, and I join up, and I don't do much. I'm focusing on real life stuff for a while at this point, and they're doing their thing for a while. And then like Henry's like kind of needs to step back, and the whole group gets inactive, and everybody's waiting for 1.13 to update for like a year. like bases were on pause in 2018.
Yeah, I remember
that was hell.
Yeah, everyone's like, yeah, no, we're gonna wait for the update Aquatic.
Load all your bells.
Yeah, exactly. So they would do like a couple like temp bases, but not really anything in particular. And I think late in 2018, I was like, the Masons aren't really doing anything. I have a little bit more time in my life again. I had like gotten a career, like a well-paying job or decent-paying job in tech, and moved out to like San Francisco, Silicon Valley, all that stuff. I had a little bit more time to actually, I could go back to gaming if I wanted to, and it wouldn't affect my real life.
It wouldn't be a detriment, yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a detriment to myself. So I go into the archive Discord, and I create a new channel, and everybody's in the archive Discord, right? New Masons and old Masons, and even still, I still allow new Masons to come into the old archive if they want to. So everyone's in the archive Discord. I make a new channel, and I invite like 3 people in it. And I say, now is the time for great reform. And it was basically, like, I want to get into leadership position again. We're going to make some changes and make things happen. And so eventually that's what we did. I got put back into a leadership position.
Like
we
moth
made a
to a
bunch of
flame.
Changes. We introduced like a degree system where you could like, only active Masons could have like opinions and stuff, which is, I think, still a meme about the whole being active thing has actually transformed into a larger meme than just being a Mason. But only active Masons can vote, and they would hold the highest degree. We have like a new
hold on.
ceremony.
Can I just interject here? They dissolved their the new Discord server that they made, and they all just came flocking back to your one, just because
No. It was just where we planned it out.
Oh, okay, all right.
We stayed in the new one. It wasn't like
Okay, yeah, I was
And
going to say that would be quite weird.
Yeah. So I did this mostly with again like Ain and Henry, but also with some help from Jumbo Warrior and Nick Has Cancer. So I get worshipful again. We introduced the new degree system. People get super active. New bases are coming along. We founded Smidville, which was like a base that was around for a really long time. We're bringing in really cool people. Probably one of my highlights was meeting Lejerv in person for his interview for the Spawn Masons.
That's
I realized
awesome.
that he was just like a train ride away, and I took the train every day for work, and so I could just get off a couple stops earlier and meet up with him. And so I did that. He was a good fit. We joined the Spawn Masons, and from there, things really began to take shape because, Lejerv is an exceptional...
And that's how they got access to NOCOM. That explains it.
developer, especially with like Minecraft mechanics and stuff. And so
I didn't realize he
when
was a
when we
Mason.
sought out to like create the Spawn Mason logo, he was pretty instrumental for that. With that, I was able to do some like web API stuff, but like the process of actually making it happen in game was definitely a Lejerv thing. I just kind of gamified it and made like a leaderboard system and like could track it on the map and all that stuff.
For those of you that don't know what you're talking about the big Spawn Mason logo above 100k download. Yeah,
the big Spawn Mason logo. Yeah, people think that was like, I mean, it took 8 days to do, but we were 24/7 on that. It was like kind of a crazy time. I remember I had an API that would estimate completion date based on the amount of blocks being placed per second, and we were watching that date get slower and slower until it was like, this is going to be done by Christmas Day. And we were ecstatic about that. We were like, it's going to be Merry Christmas to us. We're going to have this amazing logo in the middle of Spawn, and it's probably going to be there forever, at least until they raise the height limit. So that might have been one of the highlights, at least in terms of projects that I did with the Masons. Anyway.
Oh wow, they did raise
so
the height limit.
That's like the end of 2019,
The irony.
I think.
Yeah.
Something like that. Maybe there was another year. I think it might have been around the end of 2019.
Yeah, Masonic Eclipse was early 2020, late 2019.
Okay. So, 2020 comes around. COVID comes around. We have a base called COVID 2147. There's the funny number again, of course.
Oh, yeah.
And Oh, it's all coming together for you now, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, so that's a really cool base. I brought Deloaded back, and Deloaded just went ham at this base, and everybody's having a really great time. Except, throughout this, these couple of years, there's just random like personal conflicts between different members, and I don't really feel the need to
Be a council.
say what those are here or
Oh,
anything.
okay.
Just because I don't want, I don't need to fan the flames any further.
Sure.
I've pretty much forgiven anything that's happened at this
When you say
point.
personal conflicts, you mean between others or between yourself and others?
It started off between others, and then I made the mistake of
Getting
taking a side. I think.
Oh
and I
no.
shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, that's a rookie
but,
mistake.
In any case, it then moved into like a whole other area of conflict where people would be upset if I would like invite guests to the server. But like imagine if we were in this voice chat right now and I brought somebody up and I was like, oh, we should invite them to speak with them right now, just real quick. I would do that in the Spawn Masons server. We'd kick them out afterwards, and then I'd get like 10 angry people in my DMs that weren't there that were like, why would you invite this person to the Discord without, waiting a week and then voting on it? And then if they get it, and I was like, dude, what? So there were a group of people that wanted to vote on everything. And, I just, to me, it still felt like it was my group, I think. And it was like, why do we need to vote just to bring somebody in for a couple minutes that we, just want to talk and voice with, right? People wanted to treat it like it was like really like their private like club.
Yeah.
And no outsiders.
Sounds about
welcome.
right.
And any little thing that you need to do needs to be put up to a vote.
I mean, surely you
so-
do. Oh shit! I'm just pressing. Surely you do understand where that's coming from, though, because you did market not market. Sorry, you did create the whole group around being this kind of exclusive members club where everyone has their say and everyone is kind of equal. There's only one rank, whatever. So, like, surely you understand why, if the leader starts kind of going against this and doing stuff that an average member couldn't do, that can be seen as quite.
Well,
just sort of
I
not great.
actually, I gave everybody, I think, permissions to invite people if they wanted to. But yeah, it was just
okay.
there were two factions in the group. Some people wanted to vote on a lot of things, and some people were like, no, if we want to do something simple, we can just do it. We don't need to vote. And so I was obviously on the side that was like, yeah, dude, if anybody decides just to like, start up a project or do something, just do it. Or if you want to bring in a guest, just bring in a guest. Why wait a week for something if it's not even going to be relevant at that point? But so that's either, and I get what you mean, and that is definitely part of why people did get divided over it, right? People were annoyed that I had like set up this thing where it's like, it's like a special club and everything, and if I didn't treat it quite as sacred as some of the others, then I get that would be a point of contention. But for me, it was just a place that I could goof around with my friends. I didn't take it super seriously. And so we would call them like the bicker masons, right? Like they like bicker about like all sorts of stuff, right? So and I think maybe we called them the spoil sports too. Like they'd get in the way of like random fun that we could do. And so it was like we'd have like the people that in my mind wanted to have like a good time, and the people that wanted to spoil it for everyone. Obviously was not a good way to like really look at it, but that's the way that we kind of saw it. And I think the camel that broke the straw's back was there was a guest at COVID 2147, like somebody that we had like voted and brought in correctly, right? Not my guest, but they would hang out in the voice chat like 24/7, and eventually like we all like collectively like decided that we didn't really like this person all that much, but we couldn't really do anything about it because it's like it's not like easy to just like it's not like easy to like vote people out or anything.
Oh
And
no.
this person would literally this person would literally sit in the voice chat 24/7, and he wouldn't be AFK. He would be there, and so if you joined the VC, he'd be there ready to talk to you. And so I created a separate Discord server and invited a bunch of people in there just so that we could talk in VC without this guy like feeling like we were avoiding him, like by being in, you know, like we used to like move people to like the worshipful chat so that he couldn't like, you know, join it or whatever. But that felt weird. So I created a group called the Hideout, and you know, we're in there just so that we can avoid this one specific individual.
Can you name this person or no?
I'd rather not.
Fair enough, yeah.
But so, you know, it's basically me and the old Masons, and a couple of other new folks. And I think that being in there, we realized what we had lost, you know, in the other group, right? Like all like the kind of fun stuff that we did back in 2017 and stuff. And so, like, a bunch of them are telling me, Herm, you know, you gotta coup the server. Like, it wasn't even my idea. But, you know, we all had, like, a lot of energy that night, and it was, like, high time, and so there was, like, you know, 15 Masons, and we were like, let's coup the server, and we did. You know, we invited, like, all the people that had been kicked before, like, Fit and Alpha Computer came in. That's where, like, the baby boxes comment comes from. I don't know if you've ever heard that, but as soon as Fit joined the Discord, he's like, "What's up, Spawn Masons? Still building your baby boxes at Spawn?" And then he said something about how he had just gotten 1 million subscribers or something. I don't know, it was just funny. And then I think he called them the Simp Masons or something. But you know, whatever. In the height of the night, you know, we had Todorak, who had Worshipful as well. And he like he did something. I can't remember what he did, but it was bad, and people got really angry that we did it. And I don't know. Eventually, I grew sour, and I just left because I didn't want to deal with any of the drama. I started a new group called the Guardsmen, and to kick off the Guardsmen, we griefed the old Spawn Mason base called COVID, which Deloaded had really done most of the work in.
Congrats, you griefed your friend.
Yeah,
and
so
really only your friend.
Fit to the video. It was pretty, like, dramatized because it's Fit. And, you know, he wanted it to be like, you know, the end of the Spawn Masons, enter the Guardsmen. So that's kind of what we did. Right. There's, like, the quote where I declare the Spawn Masons to be dead or whatever.
Right.
So that's what all that was about.
But that was that. You know, we griefed the base. Nobody was at that base for, like, a month when we did it. And even after we griefed it, nobody noticed until the video came out. Nice. And then they got really, really upset.
Wasn't there some shit, like, because I remember this all happening and watching it on the Reddit. Didn't, like, some people build some, like, really obnoxious builds at this base, which, like, pissed off a bunch of people, like, or something? Oh,
there was, like, okay, yeah, so Mothra would make these funny-looking cubes, right? Like, you know, like the alpha blocks?
Yeah.
You'd get, like, the purple and magenta or whatever.
Yes, that's it, yeah.
He made a big one of those there, and Deloaded didn't like it. And so I removed it in secret. And everybody was like, who removed the cube?
Was that to try and keep the peace, or just because you thought
it was well, so Deloaded's like, he comes up to him and he's like, Herm, what would, if anybody removed the cube, what would happen? Do you think anybody would realize? And I'm like, I don't really know. And he's like, do you think you could put, like, TNT up there? And I'm like, no, dude, if you put TNT in the cube, it's gonna, like, come down and, like, explode stuff. So I baritone mined it, and I didn't tell anybody.
Nice.
There might even be people that learned for the first time.
Yeah.
But,
so a lot of people must have left with you then, right?
No. I was the only person that actually left the Discord.
Okay.
The other, you know, and it wasn't like a requirement to join the Guardsmen that you had to.
Yeah, but all these people are asking you to kind of, let's do a coup or whatever. I know that's kind of probably blown out of proportion a little bit, but surely those same people would leave.
You know, I mean that's kind of what I had thought too. But I mean, we were kind of, you know, it's like a group of people are like, really into something for like an evening, and then it's like, oh god, mistakes were made. I think that's kind of how most of us felt. But I had already grown like so tired of like just the bureaucracy of it that.
Yeah, bureaucracy.
I was fine with not being in the group.
I could see that coming a mile away.
Accord, and I've actually been.
Guess Alpha
much
did
happier
too.
Not worrying about the Spawn Masons or any drama appertaining to them. I don't care about what they do. Really, they can do whatever they want to. I've been to a couple Spawn Mason lodges. Even in like the past year, I get along with many of the members. It's all water under the bridge at this point for me. But I'm probably not going to rejoin just because I've enjoyed 2v2T better by not being a member.
Is it a positive feeling that in some ways the group that you created has kind of like transcended you and become its own entity that's, to this day incredibly successful on the server?
It's interesting enough. There are a lot of people that really don't like the Spawn Masons, or they think that they're like, this like really, really powerful group or whatever. But
like Zero Neb when he's off his meds.
Because I kind of know how it all works in there and like what the procedure and stuff is. It's like I don't look at them with like the same esteem, right?
Yeah, I think what it's from the outside looking in, it's all the LARP and stuff which gives it that kind of aura of this kind of mystifying, like weird like magical sounds weird, but you know what I mean, like this LARPy group that's kind of on another level to other 2B groups, because that's how they act, right? That's how they present themselves to the public.
Sure, and to some degree I'm glad that they still exist, and there's no way that it could be ran by me anymore, right? I have no time at all to really run anything on the server, to barely even play it, and so that there's always been kind of phases of activity for me in that regard too. I think in Entropy's video he said that I bring people together but I don't necessarily keep them together, and I think it's decently true, because I can be active for maybe a month if I have a slower month, but when business gets busy again, for lack of a better word, then I have no time to play or to even care about block games.
Care about the internal drama and stuff. Like you said earlier, that it's like running a business, like it's like a full-time job, and that's so true. Like you talk to Bucky Buck, you talk to like me back in fucking 2020, 2019, talk to anyone that's ever kind of led a group successfully. It's always kind of, it's a fucking constant battle
if you aren't careful.
Yeah, but would you say you're proud of what the Masons have become?
Yeah, I'm proud of what they're able to do. Absolutely.
You feel like your child's growing up and it's doing all these cool things.
I think that once I separated myself from it, and I was able to be like, they could just do whatever they want to, and I don't need to, it doesn't need to be a reflection on me. That's when it was better, because I think for a really long time, anything that the Spawn Masons did was just like associated with, oh yeah, that's Hermetic Lock's group. Everything that the Spawn Masons does is related to Hermetic Lock. Even when I wasn't like the leader, people thought that I was still like in charge of everything, right?
I guess because of the way fit culture.
Yeah, right. And so, it felt way too personal for me to like not take personal. Yeah. It felt like it was like if the Spawn Masons did something weird, it would drag my name through the mud too. Yeah. Right. So I was like very concerned about like the reputation of the Spawn Masons and whatever else, and also because of that connection with Freemasonry, it's like I feel like I have some duty to make sure that this group doesn't make that real life counterpart seem bad. If that makes any sense. I get what you mean, yeah. So, but by detaching myself from it, by not being worried about what the legacy of it looks like, it's I can just they can just do their thing, and I can just sit back and be like, yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I don't have to worry about the day-to-day whatever.
Sure. And on the flip side of being proud of it, was there obviously you seem happy and content with it now, but was there any ever I'm talking ever in its like from either times where you kind of left, was there ever any sort of like resentment towards them that, oh, you left and they're still being successful, or was it always kind of like, yeah, it is what it is, fair enough, I'm happy?
I don't think I've ever been resentful of success that the Spawn Masons have had.
That was good.
But I have definitely been jaded on the Spawn Masons before.
What do you mean by that?
I think the way for me to know, or to just, if I go back into the Spawn Masons, I'm going to end up caring about it too much.
Yeah.
And by not caring, it's made me able to appreciate them.
Okay. So you're perfectly happy with your position now, and all the best to them, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
There are I hang out with people that really don't like the Masons.
What do you think it is about the Spawn Masons that make people severely dislike? Because I'd go as far to say that I'd say II definitely topped them, and maybe Imperium topped them back in the day. But I would say the Spawn Masons is the most disliked group on the server in terms of people who dislike them for whatever reason. So why do you think that is? Do you think it's kind of because they're like private and they sort of act like above the average player, and that makes average players kind of resent them a bit?
Yeah, there's all sorts of fun little Spawn Mason exploits, I guess, that people wish that they had access to, maybe. Any type of group that becomes elitist is going to be a little bit disliked by players that don't share that same kind of status, I suppose.
And how much would you, obviously, I know you can't really talk now.
That doesn't mean that that doesn't mean that everybody that hates the Spawn Masons is just, they hate it because they're not
not
as like successful.
Hate it because you ain't it, yeah.
But it's I think that when you just act elitist, you attract that kind of attention, right? Where it's like it's like
jealousy
the billionaire
and
class.
resentment.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess
it's the same thing
something
as
like
real life, isn't it? And from your time in the Masons, how to what extent would you say that the group was glued together by the fact that, due to the group's status, if you know what I mean, so the members were only a part of the Spawn Masons sometimes because they could say they were in the Spawn Masons, or has it always been everyone's friends with everyone? Because I've heard loads of there's so many internal conflicts historically.
Yeah, I don't think anybody in the Spawn Masons does it just because it's like, oh, I just want to have the title of being a Spawn Mason.
Is that a part of it though?
I don't think so.
Not at all.
Well, I guess that's hard to say. I still wear the armband.
Yeah, fair. Because obviously, because it seems to me that the Spawn Masons attract so many people that like really fucking want to join. Like for some people, joining the Masons,
become a goal.
Yeah, 100%.
It's become like a sign that you've made it.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. And you see a lot of players who kind of aspire to that, and kind of the best way of saying it is sucking them off. Basically, that's the quickest way. And you see a lot of people kind of sucking off the Masons to try and get in. So I feel like that probably does happen internally to an extent. Obviously, I'm not in the group and blah blah blah. But yeah, I don't know.
Sucking off the Masons. Wow, that probably is mandatory nowadays, isn't it?
Aspire to, but I think once you're there, it's just a friend group, right? That's why when I originally disbanded the group, I was like, they're just going to form their own thing, right? Like the people will stay the same, but the group will change, or the group name will change. That's what I originally thought would happen. But that's what it is. That's why it's hard to get into Masons, by the way. It's not because it's like, it's strict because you have to become good friends with them.
Yeah. It's the same as my group, VSB. That's exactly how it works. you just have to be a friend. Like we literally have our own fucking Snapchat group where we all have each other's real names and bullshit, and like
there's a Spawn Mason LinkedIn group chat.
Yeah, I mean, Spawn Masons have done countless like IRL meetups and stuff, haven't they? Like you guys.
I've had
people sleeping around each other's houses and shit.
Even after I've removed myself from the group, I've hosted Spawn Masons at my apartment.
Yeah, that's
right.
really cool.
So like, the animosity that some people think might be there is not really there between.
Yeah, that's definitely good to get cleared up, because that's kind of going into this. That was definitely one of the things I was sort of wondering, like whether or not there was kind of, as you said, animosity between you and the Masons because of the way in which you left. But yeah, okay. So moving on from the Masons now, was it like you left the Masons straight away? You started the Guardsmen, or did you kind of like? Was there some time where you sort of planned? Or time when you were like, was there any period of time where you were like, oh, I'm kind of done with 2B for now, and then you kind of got the idea for Guardsmen came back, or was it straight away?
No, I was still in my I'm playing 2B2T for a month or two. This is during the pandemic. Everybody's at home,
true.
Right? And so really the only gap in between was a creative gap, right? I had to figure out something that would be interesting between like the name and branding. What would the initiation or ceremonies be like? Why does it exist? What do they do? Right. So, I had like a document and I shared it with a couple people, made revised things. And it was really fun. The Guardsmen probably should have been a 3-month group.
Oh, okay.
But, and it's just kind of stayed because I've just not deleted the Discord. But we were really only active during like 2020. A couple other projects like intermittently. But that was almost how it was situated too. It was like, it's the type of group that's going to be active for short flips in time, and then, nobody cares for a little while, but then, when we come back, we're back, that sort of thing. But yeah, really good folks. Orson has been a really cool guy to get to know, and he took on a leadership role really early on.
Yeah, wasn't Orson just a random new fag you met on the highway and decided this guy's cool?
He might have mentioned something tech related in 2B chat, and that piqued my interest because I work in tech too. So I sent him a message on Discord, and we started talking from there. And I tried to get him to become a Spawn Mason, but everybody wouldn't let him into the Discord because he was too new.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, there's like a whole bunch of like,
bitch, I started this group when I've been playing for like 6 months. What do you mean?
I was like, this is a group founded by a new player, but it evolved into something more than.
So that's how he and Orson met. Very interesting.
But I always wanted to do stuff like that. Like, I like bringing people into the Discord and hanging out with them and meeting new people. But so Orson was one of those people, and because he wasn't allowed to be a Spawn Mason, but I thought he was super cool still, I was like, this is going to be like, on my list for the Guardsmen, and he was really cool. Still is cool.
Yeah, I remember when you guys first did the Homeland. That was just a really cool place to be honest, because it was like a very active base. Fucking Pop Bob was there, like, oh my god.
We went and the Hermetic Lock propaganda campaign went out in full force. I think there were like 6 videos that were coming out about me, and like Sal just did one about the spawn base, so it was like really good timing. But we had that good like Homeland base for a while. I mean, it's still there, but it should have been like a 3-month thing, and then we should have called it good, because we haven't done a whole lot since then.
Yeah, it's
now like it's a friend group, really.
Right.
Now.
Okay. Yeah, there's still people in it that are trying to like keep it active.
Yeah, it's people still talking it every day, but I don't know.
Yeah, because
totally fun. I still love the branding of the Guardsmen, and I like that the initiation only requires one other person, and it can be done at any time. Like when I created the Guardsmen, I was like, all the things that I didn't like about the Spawn Masons, I'm gonna change. First of all, no more democracy, but you're not equal, but also it's like everybody knew going into that if I wanted to have a final say in something, then it was up to me.
Yeah. So in the
So that
long,
was like,
yeah, in the long term, why do you think the Guardsmen failed and the Spawn Masons haven't?
I wouldn't say the Guardsmen failed. It's still there, but the reason why it's not active is because I can't be active. I am not a. I can't play 2v2t like I used to.
Right.
And I don't care enough.
So you're saying
know
that
what I
that
mean?
group's activity is directly correlated to your effort put in.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
and whoever wants to put in the effort to it, right? Like there are a couple leaders that would come through and they do really great things, but it's not able to come from me anymore. I just don't have the time for it.
Because you guys had such a great start, obviously, back on the Homeland. It was peak pandemic, peak everyone was playing. Q was fucking stupid, like 200 whatever. So why, like, did it not keep going? That's what I'm trying to kind of understand it. Like, what about the group made it so that it didn't turn into this big group? At least for 2020, when, you were personally active. Obviously, now it's a different story, job, whatever.
Well, I think, when it was functioning really well. But, I could only... it's a lot of these things are dictated by the leader, right? And I just can't put in the. I'll go 3 or 4 months sometimes without ever logging into Minecraft, and so you can't lead a group with that minimal effort. So that's why it
and you
that's why
couldn't
it's
find
not
anyone
active.
to lead it on the.
Sometimes
times
you can, sometimes you can't. Some people would for various strengths or stretches of time. And then, they just, like, get bored or want to do something else.
Yeah. Do you see yourself reviving it in the future, or do you want to do a fresh new idea?
No, I'll probably... Well, so, I've had this idea for a while. I want to make a League of Villains, Dig.
A League of Villains?
A League of Villains, yeah.
Okay.
So, actually,
Wild.
after the Spawn Masons were disbanded, a couple of us were like, let's just, like... be atrocious on the server as just like a rule, and like we'll get a whole bunch of like kind of well-known players together and we'll just wreck things up completely, and we'll call ourselves the Evil League of Evil or whatever, League of Villains. It would just be fun.
I mean, I feel like a lot of people are very I'm talking active players, are very cautious of their reputation nowadays, so maybe they wouldn't want to kind of risk it doing something like that. But then it's led by someone like yourself who's kind of well
That's
respected.
the difference.
Yeah. That's the difference
the
from fuck your average new fag starting like the 5 millionth griefing group.
Right. So, yeah, if I do create something new, it'll be the League of Villains. If anybody else listening wants to just start that, go ahead. I don't, But, you can steal the name. But, yeah, that's kind of what I would do. Otherwise, we can always go back to the homeland in the Guardsmen, right?
Oh, it's a fucking... it's very... it's seen better days. But then again,
It's a
so
mess.
has world
But
famous spawn base.
I love the mess. I love the mess.
Yeah.
I mean, the world famous spawn base in particular. There's probably no place on 2v2t that feels more like home.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I come to that little area and it's like, oh yes, these are my blocks.
No,
This is my perimeter.
Okay, yeah, this is
my
almost
world.
over.
Get away from me.
Yeah. So going back to what negative entropy said about you that you clearly agree with,
Like
is
10 minutes away.
Like you're great at executing good ideas, but not good at making them last. Right? Is that what he said?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
with the first Spawn Masons, right, I had to focus my time on, like, trying to become a decent member of, like, normal society. And, after that happened, it's like, I don't have much time for the server.
Fair
really.
enough. So would you would you blame that reputation on just the fact that you're a busy guy, basically?
Yeah, that's all it is.
You can't
if
know
I had
life,
nothing-
unfortunately.
Yeah, if I was doing nothing, then sure, I
Yeah.
could keep these things going for a while.
Okay, so it's not a lack of motivational skill; it's straight up a lack of time.
Yeah, it's a lack of time. And, sometimes, your interest in Minecraft will vary. But, Yeah, I don't have much time for it. I'll check Discord every now and then. But every now and then I'll go on like a streak where I don't check Discord for like a solid month too.
Really? Wow, that must be a lot of fucking DMs to come back to each time, huh?
It's really brutal, actually.
Yeah. Like, I go off Discord for a week and come back and it's fucking effort to read through all the DMs, but going off for that long, Jesus. Yeah. So, are you proud of your reputation on 2B2T and everything that you're known for accomplishing?
I tell people in real life about it.
Do you?
Yeah.
That's
Oh, wow.
interesting. That's cool, actually. Yeah. So I take that. Yes.
I'm proud of it. It's it's just fun, right? And 2B2T became so well known over the past couple of years that's like every now and then people know who Hermetic Lock is without me telling them who it is, which is so weird.
Wait, what do you mean by that?
Like I'll talk about Minecraft with somebody, and then they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'm big on Minecraft or whatever," and then I'll mention 2B2T, and they'll say, "Yeah, I've watched FitMC," and then I'd be like, and then I'd say who I was, and they'd already know who that person is. That's cool. Happened in real life to me twice. And other people have experienced that where they've mentioned me to other people and they're like, "What the heck? You're famous in Minecraft?"
Yeah, that's sick. I've never experienced that, so that's
But
fun.
then just other random Minecraft servers is where it happens the most. I can't go if I play on Hypixel, I'll get recognized, and that's fun too.
That's cool. Yeah. So, I mean, I feel that you've kind of answered this, and that this has kind of been the whole vibe of the podcast, actually. But would you say that 2B2T has had a net positive or a net negative impact on your life?
Positive.
And
I've met
what have you gained?
So many cool people. Yeah. What have I gained?
What has 2B2T given you? Yeah.
Well, I mean, there are certain things in my career that I owe to 2B2T, right? All these little personal projects that I've done contributed to things that I could put on my resume, right? Beyond that, I have clients that are 2B2T players. So...
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah.
I know those people that found your services through 2B, so that's how they know you.
Yeah, or I've played with them on 2B for years, and they've got a company that could use my services, right? That kind of thing.
Yeah, that's sick. And what about in terms of communicating? Because that was Negative Entropy's big one. He said he's benefited greatly from people skills.
I think I had that going into it, and that's why I was able
That's how
to...
you were so successful from the get-go,
Yeah.
And so the first question I asked you in this podcast was, to what extent is your 2B2T personality a reflection of your real life? So now I'm going to flip that and ask, how do you think your real life personality has been influenced by your 2B2T personality, if at all?
Okay, sure. I guess one instance that stands out that happened recently that I noticed was interesting. Right? The Georgia Guidestones were recently destroyed. Do you know what these are, Dig?
I do not know.
It's like the American Stonehenge. It's we got this little monument thing. Somebody blew them up.
Wait, what do you mean blew them up?
They got explosives and they blew them up.
Really?
What the hell is this about? What?
Yeah, it is. But I was
Explain further,
I was
Harm.
so indifferent to it, probably because of,
It's just a fucking 2011
super-
base being griefed.
I'm not super concerned about how long things last.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. After you have your bases griefed so many times, you learn to just stop.
Yeah, you do get
about
desensitized to it.
sacred
I know.
Different monuments.
That one's from
it's
first-hand
like-
experience.
Yeah, that's a weird mindset that even after all these years of playing 2B, I still have for some reason. That I think it's normal for people to have it in real life, but even on 2B, I still see things that were built a long time ago as cool, purely for the fact that they're old, purely for the fact that they've lasted that long.
Oh,
when in reality,
don't get me wrong. I think they're
shattered,
totally cool. but I'm not gonna care if it gets blown up.
That's the thing. I do like for some. I don't know why, and I think it's so retarded. But I always just get that kind of like negative. Oh, that kind of sucks. Every time I see like a Reddit post of a guy blowing up some fucking 2011 base, it's like, you know, I don't know. It just doesn't sit right, and I don't. Oh my god! Well, I don't know if this is peaceful, bro. Bro, what have you done to my desk? It's gone. What's happened? Okay, well. Alright, you're kind of blocking the camera here.
My bad.
Does Hermetic know how to rebuild the DMC studio?
I don't know how that happened.
Well, that's a first. I'm gonna jump. Can you place like a slab under me so I get just a bit of height? And then we can continue on from that.
Sorry, I didn't think that would actually work.
Yeah, this isn't a piece from my server. Oh, now I'm like, okay. Alright, we're cool.
Oh, no.
Alright. Oh, we're going fucking acacia wood, are we? Or jungle? Beautiful. Honestly, no, leave the glass out. I kind of like the way it looks with the shaders.
Alright,
It's nice. It's a cool looking base. Look at that. Sorry for those of you watching at home that was incredibly disturbed by the random TNT explosion sound. Okay, moving on. So I only have a few things left to ask you. They're kind of more sort of philosophical, kind of wide-reaching questions about 2B2T. So you might have already answered this in some parts earlier, but as a new fag, how should you approach 2B2T to maximize enjoyment?
Don't wait for anybody else to create or fun, right? You got to create it yourself. And also, you know, build bases just for the sake of building bases, right? It's like, treat it like it's a sandcastle. You know, it's not going to last forever, but it doesn't need to. The fun isn't because it lasts forever. The fun is because, you know, eventually it's going to get wiped out.
And someone's going to see it.
Yeah, and someone's going to see it. And, I mean, you know, there are two things that you should be excited about in terms of building a base. The first is like, you know, creating a base and having fun building. And the second one is sharing it with others. And now we have a museum, which, you know, like the archive server, where your builds can last forever, or as long as, you know, we keep continuing to pay for the server.
Yeah, it's really cool how people like Turban's a fucking legend, man. I really want to.
Oh man, Turban's amazing.
I can't believe that he's done such an amazing job with the archive.
Yeah,
it's one of, you know, so it's like I think maybe one of I wish he made it a non-profit of some sorts, but I mean, one of the most fulfilling things that I'm able to do is, you know, help support the archive server.
Oh, I didn't know you did. That's cool actually. Yeah. So he takes donations from players then?
No. Turban and I have split the costs since it started.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
I mean, because prior to that, we had the Vault, Project Vault, which was like some exclusive thing, and only had a few downloads, and the museum, which was just corrupt in how it was run, and we all know what kind
Turban has put literally thousands of hours into the archive.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing.
The dedication is bewildering and inspiring.
Yeah. And that actually leads very nicely onto my next question, actually. This leads very nicely on, because the next question is, are there any players, 2B2T players, you look up to or respect, and why?
Yeah, Turban, of course, is one of them. Crowbar, another. I mean, there are a ton of people that I looked up to. Not even just because, like, you know, they're 2B2T players. I look up to Orson, you know, as like just like a great like leader and mentor even. I have a lot of just great friends that I look up to on the server. I even look up to Negative Entropy in some cases. Not all of them, but you know, he can at least keep things going.
Yeah, I guess.
You know, there's something to be said for preserving a tradition.
Yeah, I mean, Negative's done an amazing job by keeping the Masons running. It's because of how, like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but he comes across as incredibly humble and incredibly neutral, and that's how he kind of...
yeah, I don't know. I think the reason why he's able to do it is because he doesn't take sides,
Mm,
but
yeah.
sometimes that's a weakness too. But it's worked out fine.
Yeah, I mean, look at people like Iron Exception. He's kind of based his entire existence on the server of being neutral, and he's, you know, kind of one of the most well-trusted, well-respected players on the server because of it.
Yeah, definitely.
So, and that's another example, actually, of kind of like the 2v2t social consequence of your actions do, you know, people, you do have a reputation, and that reputation allows you to either be kicked off the server by being hated, or multiplying your enjoyment of the server by tenfold because people trust you and invite you to cool shit. So, yeah.
Yeah. Other players, you know, I like Jacktherippa. I look up to Jack.
Why Jacktherippa? Just because he's a good builder? Or?
I guess just because he's a good builder. I don't know. I guess there's more. But, you know,
I
it's
guess there's
interesting,
more.
you know, to look up to players as individuals. You know, most people, it's just like they're friends with me. Do I look up to them? Sometimes. You know, I look up to Lager every now and then. But, you know, I'm more happy to be friends with people.
Yeah. Do you respect FitMC?
Yeah. I think, I love FitMC. I don't know what to say.
He's just a cool guy, like.
He's just a cool guy. He's super funny. You know, kudos to him for building the audience that he has, right?
Yeah.
I think people approach Fit wrong. You know,
I agree,
people
yeah.
get mad about the over-dramatization or dramatization of stuff. I think that you need to look at his videos like if you're telling a bedtime story to like your grandchildren or something. They're wonderful little stories. They don't have to be grounded in absolute facts.
Yeah, I said this in the Bucky
it's all
podcast.
entertainment.
Maturing on 2v2t is learning to respect Fit at least a little bit.
Oh
Instead
no.
of just thinking, oh my god, big bad.
That'll get you lynched.
I 100% think there's definitely
Saying
things he's
something
done
like that.
wrong, and I definitely don't like. I mean, my biggest gripe against him is how he portrays the server as family friendly to an audience of, you know, kids who are gonna join and, you know, can get fucking, you know, pulled into all this like neo-Nazi
Doxed.
edgy bullshit, and you see that happening all the time. I mean, that's my biggest gripe with him.
I
Grief.
don't think he portrays it as family friendly. Doesn't he like literally say to like not join?
He does, but that just entices you more as a kid. Like, just giving a disclaimer in the description isn't really like, sure, it protects him like fucking legally and maybe in his eyes morally, right? But I think there's still when you're making it seem like this cool fucking wasteland battleground, which 2v2t is very cool. It's not a wasteland battleground, right? It's cool in its own ways. It's not cool in the ways of fucking like antagonists, protagonists, fucking like good versus evil, blah blah blah, big battles and all that shit, which is obviously, you know, targeted to a very young demographic who looks at that and is like, oh my.
I will say though, I do have to interrupt with that one. That is wrong. There were lots of those throughout 2v2t history. They're rare. Your average event does not have a good guy or a bad guy, but there were times when there were good and bad fights. You know, good guy, bad guy, shit like that. That I've been a part of some of those. They were wild. I've confronted Pop Bob on multiple occasions just for the fun of it. Sometimes it's an unexpected encounter that does indeed set off half the damn server, like when Javazon was trying to grief a bunch of shit. Like, Fit probably tries to capture that vibe because he knows most people will not see that. And, you know, fair enough. Like, most people will not stick around long enough to know all the crazy stuff that could happen on 2v2t, but probably won't. Let's be real. Nowadays, I have no fucking clue what happens on 2v2t. So I don't know. But at the time, yeah, there were a few of those. You can't discount those. Also, thank you for subscribing, Dig, or who was it? It wasn't Dig. Oh, I'm so sorry. I've forgotten your name, but thank you for subscribing. I saw the notification earlier.
Oh my god, this is so cool. But, you know, on the flip side of the
you know, sometimes VSB is on the evil side. depending on the narrative. You know, I think that I think some of it is there.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't see the good versus evil thing. I mean, maybe you could prove us all wrong with your fucking group.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe when we create the League of
The
Villains.
League of Evil. The League of Villains, sorry. Yeah. That would be the, yeah. Fair enough. But no, I definitely think Fitm's... I mean, if I was in Fitmc's position, I'd be doing shit very similar to him. He's capitalised off of the incredibly good opportunity.
I mean, the work ethic is more than people give him
Yeah,
credit
it's
for,
insane,
too,
bro. The fact that he was able to pump out weekly videos, like, people don't understand
for like a
how
really
hard
long
they
time.
are to make. Yeah, for what, like 2 years he was doing that solid, like maybe even longer.
I
2.5?
think more, dude. Like 3.5 or.
It's insane.
Something.
I wonder if he had a target for, like, you know, legacy views, like views your older videos get put up. I wonder if he had a target when, let's say, he got 2 million views a week just from legacy views. That was his target, to stop uploading weekly and kind of relax a little bit. Or if he kind of just felt like it. I don't know. I feel like he would have had a target for it. But that man's won 2v. FitMC and
Yes.
Housemaster are the true winners of 2v22.
Fit has won, most certainly.
Sure.
But then
Yeah,
again,
that reminds me. You know, like purchasing 2B in 2021 was actually one of the more interesting things that I did too.
purchasing 2v, bro. Hermetic lock is Housemaster.
Doesn't say anything
Silence
further.
on that.
Refuses to elaborate. Leaves.
Okay, well, I'm glad it's made you a very rich man. I mean, you can afford that crown on your head, so yeah.
That's
Okay,
right, yeah.
well, I think that's everything. It's been a fucking pleasure. You've been great to talk to. We've talked about some really cool shit. I did watch your previous podcasts that you've done. You've done like 3 or 4 of them. I think you did one way back in like 2017 as well, which, holy fuck, that was 5 years ago, which, that's weird.
Yeah, I think that what you're doing here is really well done too.
Thank you.
Like
man,
the
I
other
appreciate it.
podcasts, you know, someone's just like playing like Gary's mod or whatever, but like having like the set and everything is like totally cool.
The set. And I just tried to ask more kind of questions that sort of go more in depth rather than how did Spawn look like when you first joined and, you know, all the generic stuff. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this, so yeah, I hope you had a good experience. I forgive you for blowing up my studio. It will be repaired for next time. And yeah, any closing remarks?
I'm just sorry because I have a feeling more people are going to blow it up.
I might have to end up putting it on peaceful mode.
Yeah.
So, yeah, dear future guests, please do not blow up the studio. Thank you. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Herm, so much for coming on. As I said, it's been a great pleasure talking to you. And thank you, my Patreon supporters, Yatta, Space, and LightningBolt44 currently, $5 a month. You get to watch the interviews live. Look at Yatta over there. She's just been enjoying the show. Are you? Yes, exactly. Yeah, type in chat how much you enjoy the watching the DigCast live. Very many. There you go, boys. So if that doesn't want to make you join, then I don't know what will. But as I said, thank you so much for watching.
Wild.
I will see you next time. Goodbye.
Oh, wait. Okay, well, that was DigMC, folks. God, that was interesting. Seeing Herm's take on everything that he's been through, everything he's done. It's always interesting getting to see somebody else's experiences in life, especially on 2B2T. What made... Oh, music's too loud? I'm so sorry. There we go. Is that better? Oh, that's right. I didn't adjust it in OBS. My bad. So I usually have it about here and here. Okay. Let me know after I've adjusted it now. Is it okay now? Boxed cat. I don't know what the fuck that means, Poncho. Anyway, but yes. It's always interesting getting to see somebody else's experiences who are wildly different than mine. Because, like, other than the few little bits of crossover Herm and I have had, like, I didn't really know everything that he'd been through or had done, you know? And so that's always interesting to get to see somebody's personal life, kind of. Obviously, there's way more behind the scenes personally, but, you know, interesting stuff like that. I'm surprised he didn't mention being invited to Space Valk 3, but oh well. I don't really think that was terribly, how do I put this, like, super, like, I know he had to keep quiet about it for a long time because, you know, we didn't want anyone knowing that place existed. But yeah, stuff like that. So, Dig. Thanks for watching. If I may recommend Forcekin's interview, okay. I'll probably listen to him Monday. He's got the most interesting takes. It's a good watch. Okay. Well, actually, I'll do that on Hardcore Tuesday. Monday is Building with Jack, and I'll do more of my own style of, you know, basically what is essentially podcast type stuff, I guess. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I look forward to it. Just hit me up whenever you get a free moment. We'll try to arrange all the stuff we need to arrange, and I'll happily show up on your cast. Should be nice. Apart from that, yeah. Can we get Alpha for 15 minutes on Monday? He's sick. I don't know that he'll want to. But anyway, okay, so enough placing of blocks for the time being. I'll fill all this crap in later. We don't have too much more left to bother with. And then I'll put a little ring of stairs like this around. And then maybe a second one on top. I don't know. Something to sort of give the inner wall here some character, something to distinguish it by. And then I want to put like 4 or 5 rooms, you know, going off like this, going up under here, and well, we'll worry about that later. Anyway, now is the fun time where we get to actually see what everybody is up to. Ooh, okay, Season 13, 14. They've AFK'd this thing like mad. That's a mob or creeper spider farm, I believe. Here's Snuxman's tower. It's really, really interesting. I enjoy what Snuxman has made here. He's good. I can appreciate this. Oh, but yeah. Sounds good. You're gonna head out at 6 a.m. for you? Holy shit, dude. I'm so sorry. Well, hopefully we don't have to stay up till that late. But I understand. Now then. So here is, the statue's finished. This is Lord Arcadius's, I believe. And then you added more places to the Dynamap. Okay. I'll look them out. Or I'll look them up. I mean, this is Jack Boy's. Interesting train car. Not really much to say about the statue. It needs some color. But I think he'll do something about that. Here we have Jay's shanty town. I think it's growing again. Someone made an actual replica of a pillager outpost. Ooh, Bubble Man. Wow, this is different. I like this. Bub and Bill's Sandbar Cafe and Bar. Blah. I felt. I wanted to see the cafe and bar up close, in person. Hey, Bubble Man. Well, what do I have to do to get some service around here? Whose leg do I have to hump to get a dry martini around here? Now, if I can find a midget with some gin, I'll be in business. Bottle return. Cool. Yes, we have water breathing. Strength, of course. No, those are Family Guy references, Poncho. I don't intend to get drunk on stream. Or ever, for that matter. What's up here? Oh. The brewery. What's the leaves for? Come on, there we go. Oh, this just sets the mood, I see. Cool. Is this meant to be a drop down, or? I don't know. It looks great. I love the internal, you know, the house feeling or the restaurant feeling. It's pretty dope. I like this. I'm not gonna lie. I might copy some of this at some point. Hard to say when, of course. But yeah, okay. This is neat. I like this. It's got that homey atmosphere to it, and it's got the walls. That's so nice. Oh, these must just be like assorted chests of junk, or is this supposed to be like a docks? Huh. Well, at any rate, yeah, I love this. This is awesome. Look underwater. Okay, in a moment. Oh, stripped wood. Yeah, okay, it makes it all pink looking. It's a dock pier. Ah. Yeah, I see it now. And underwater we got a lot of color. And, Ah, this is where it opens up. Probably more house. Where's the... There it is. There's the bathysphere. Nothing's changed in it, but still pretty cool. Okay, wow. I'm blown away, Bubble Man. Okay, so those people are done moving. Alright, I understand, X-Toy. Huh. Weird, colored house. Little gazebo-looking thing. Very cool. Ah, now down in here, nothing really's changed. Looks like all this is going to be renovated at some point. Uh-huh. Okay. Let's check on Amion's bunker, I guess. I guess it's a bunker, right? Amion's not really been able to do much, but you know. Why is everyone so good at building? I'm sorry, Ani. Everybody's just kind of trying. You know, you try your best. It's kind of the point. Okay, let's find somebody. Oh wow, Ixtoy, you and Pinecone have done a wonderful job. Got some of everything under the sun down here. Okay, wow. Got lots of open cave as well. Oh, stronghold. I see now. Yeah, duh. Of course it's a stronghold. This was an end portal. Duh. Ah, you got more to excavate out, I see. Well, I wish you all luck with this new location. Looking interesting. Damn. Just dug right down into it. Oh, and they've got a jungle temple right next to it. Okay. That's wild. Probably already raided it though, right? Yeah. Oh well. I can't wait to see whatever they put on there. 9S is still an AFK account. No shock there. Simpsons AFK. Pinecone, where are you? Also here. Poncho. Oh wow. Prepare your next base is on an island. Ah. Wow. What is what's here now? This week's base progress. Okay. Corals on the bottom part of the hole coming soon. Aquarium spits out conduit replica. This ellipsoid was made without Lightmatica or World Edit through MS Paint. Ah. Need to be more polished. Okay, fair enough. You really kind of have to plan out things like ellipsoids. Oh. Oh, yeah. I heard about this guy's thing, whoever this is. Wild. Ah, this is Lord Arcadius. Okay, cool. I want to see what it ends up becoming. This is going to be awesome. I don't know. It's a giant circle, and it'll be very dynamic and very interesting. But overall, we'll just have to wait and see. There's no point really in speculating right now. What is old Arabella Super up to?
Uh-huh.
Oh, this is just the nether perimeter. Aha, this is where they put all that junk. Okay, well, you know, it's the nether. Okay, Sam, I want to see your back rooms. Oh ho. So how does one get in? Aha. Mysterious door, do you wish to enter? Yes, of course. Oh, whoops. Well, I meant to shut that, but... Oh, this is like the giant oversized furniture that makes no sense. Okay, that's cool. Hello? Can anyone hear me? Fuck. Oh wow, this is so cool. What's around the next corner, I wonder? Ooh, spoopy. No bacteria monster. No, you didn't take an Enderman and like... No, you didn't take an Enderman, name tag him, and keep him trapped here. Oh well. Close enough. Wow, this part right here really looks like it. Like, I don't know what it is. It just looks backroomsy. I don't know. You have your own coral monster poncho. Well, I will look at that when you're finished with it. Oh, shit. A bus. Is it, Yeah, it's got stuff in it. Oh, is it meant to be, like, crashed? Ah, okay, it's got fire. Yeah, bus crash here. Crazy. I'll never forget that woman in Found Footage 2. Her reaction when she sees a crashed car. And she's like, how did this get here? What happened? Where did you come from? Because obviously, you know, there's no access to the highway or anything. And so it's very, like, not in a proper place. This is not a thing that should be. Ooh. Second layer up here. I think I'm on the second layer. I don't know. Really a shame there's no terracotta stairs or anything of that nature. Okay. Oh, it ends. No. Yeah, the layers do look different, that's true. Weird diagonal room. But the architecture doesn't make any sense. Oh, wow. Oh, crap. Just like seeing this for a second, just like that, it really kind of like gives you the vibe of this place is desolate and large. But also just a maze. Is there even a way out? So we come back to the furniture room, which is the edges of the thing. Okay. Oh, a street lamp. I didn't see this. Ah. Just right around the corner. I gotta say, the mangrove wood door is like growing on me. Yeah, this thing right here, it looks pretty snazzy. Not gonna lie, it's not quite on the same level as the dark oak door, but it's getting there, you know. Oh shit, this place is dark. Why? Sam did do a really good job. Oh wow, the door opens and closes every so often. Yeah, okay, it's on a hopper clock. Is this the exit? Or does it even matter? No, this seems to be a dead end, actually. Yeah, frog lights are amazing for this. It really does set the mood as, you know, the yellowy, incredibly bright fluorescent lights. Oh, so it shuts, and as a result, closes multiple different paths. I see. Very cool. But what even is... Oh wow, there's so much of this I missed. Gonna say they really growing on me? Yeah, the frog light wasn't a bad addition. I just feel like it was about the only worthwhile addition to 1.20. Which is unfortunate, but I guess they can't all be that good. Wow, this place is especially desolate. I like this. Oh, we're even not even in the thing. I wonder how much of this area he's going to cover with stuff. Ooh. Oh, red glass and the ochre frog light. That's so cool. What do you reckon this thing is? Some sort of like apparatus? A beam? It's wild, whatever it is. Okay, well, I think we've seen enough of Sam's area. Oops. Keezer, what have you been up to? Oh, you're at the Sky Temple still. Guess you've not made your base yet? It's Guardian Stalk, right? Ah, this is this place. Okay. Well, every week I look at this giant ring that they're doing. They're getting closer, but progress isn't fast, I know. So, oh, he just joined the first time. I didn't realize. I thought he joined once already. Okay, Saturnius, what you up to? Uh-oh. Getting shot, Sat. I can't read this. Rose's Sex Dungeon. Oh, daily dose of roses? Ah, so this must be hers. Okay. What a funny place. I mean, there's nothing here yet. I don't know that there's a tour to be given. Like, there's nothing under the... Okay, well, there's this, but this is just like a chicken farm, so... Snargle Fox. Oh, hey, it's Jared. Yo, yo. Oh, trekking by horse to wherever. Okay. Keezer. Guardian Stalk, Nobleman, Lord Arcadius. Huh. Oh, I know who I'm missing. Ta. We've not gotten a look at Ta's base this week. Ooh. Oh, this is that spider farm. Yeah. Yeah, down here, a spider spawner. Okay, cool. We hadn't yet, this area was not covered. I don't think it had a proper floor or ceiling or something like that. Still pretty cool. Looks like it's a right member of the base now. Oh, a stone generator. Yeah, you'd need it, wouldn't you? Pumpkin. Lots of pumpkins. Lots of usage of arch. Lots of lava. Cocoa bean. What's in here again? Ah, the storage room. Oh yeah, you gotta have a thing for shulkers, don't you? So many damn shulkers. Ah, here's the wheat. And the shroom light growing place. reads... Taz, the only reason you think shroom lights look cool... Shroom lights have always looked cool. They've just needed the right block palette to really draw that out. Because otherwise it just... I don't know, it's generic. Must be the smithing and general... Oh, this is the entrance. I see now. Hey, Swanky. How are you? Oh, man. My butt. Should have checked the chests. Has sugar named Rose's Daily Meth in it. Okay, cool. So, yes, Ta's base isn't really like the back rooms per se. It's distinct enough that I wouldn't, like, call it that or anything. Just that it's really cool. Has he found the thing? You've also been filling in caves. Yeah, he found it. Damn. I made a little secret room here under his base with no connection to it. I think he found it because I showed it on stream or something. Oh well. Got his own dark room, creeper, spider farm. You found the secret place, didn't you, Ta? Admit it. Where'd you put that thing I gave you? I saw you make it? Oh. Yeah, I guess you probably were in the area, weren't you? Oh well. You can make a farm out of that stuff in there if you want. I don't care. Ooh. Ah, no wonder. Yeah, I kind of figured I'd show it up on your tracers, but oh well. I didn't really care. Huh. Ah, so this is the level we're on, the B level. And the farm. Yes, here I'm on Arch right now. Rose's Temple of Autism. Well, she's got to make the temple first. Ain't much of a temple yet. Oh, future expansions, perhaps? Oh, that's all powdered snow. Ah, no wonder. Let's in light. Boop. So this just connects over this way. Damn, this place is awesome. I can never get enough of this place's architecture. I love it. Also, what's this room going to be for, I wonder? Floor isn't totally done, but yeah, it could be something. Where was the exit? Fortune room. Oh, for laying out netherite, or not netherite, nether quartz, and using fortune on it. You know, actually, it might be a good idea to go down. See if there is a base symmetry or not. I don't think there's too much symmetry to it. Single roof tile appears on more seconds on stream than your entire base, Poncho. I'm sorry, Poncho. I've seen it. I'll look at it again. What you got in here? Oh. Yeah, you do have your own coral monster. Blue and yellow. That's interesting. I would have just made it straight blue, but yeah, blue and yellow is good too. Oh, it is all symmetrical. Conduit replica at the bottom of the hole. Where is it? Temporary portal. It's not so temporary if you keep it all around. TP to you. Aha. Okay, I see. Oh, beacon beams can pass through conduits. I didn't know that. Ah, this is what you meant. Okay. Yeah, I see it now. Yeah, from like this bottom portion up, you've okay. Cool. Very shiny because of the glass, but yeah. Okay. Now then, let me open up the spreadsheet. There's some stuff on here I've not been able to visit yet. Jay's base, Logosaurus Rex. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, this guy got banned, I think, or something. Or maybe he's just not been back on. It's Sketchy. Did It's Sketchy ever do anything? I don't guess so. No, it doesn't appear to be. It's only Katniss. They were on earlier. Ah, yes, they had a nice little jungle hut thingy. Kinda. Nothing really in the mine. Wow, this one goes all the way down, doesn't it? Yep. Okay. That's pretty cool. Ah, Dark. We haven't seen Dark's hole yet. Dark has done a lot of work. He completely flooded and finished everything. He moved the entire sea temple, or the entire ocean monument, down to here. And I guess he's like making it his own thing now. This looks awesome. Ah, you come right in this way. I see now. Okay. Oh, he's gonna have oxidized copper. Ooh, that's gonna be pretty. Uh-huh. Ah! A farm for Prismarine. Okay. Yeah, they, also, what the hell is this? Well, whatever. Okay, that'll be cool. So yeah, Dark blew all of this up and then flooded everything, and oh, there's a little villager in there. Zombie extraction. Oh wow, he even flooded the geode. That's so cool. That's a really cool concept for a base. Wonder what kind of wall material he'll use. Probably Prismarine. It's hard to see with the shaders. Yeah, it probably is. There we go. In all honesty, my eyes could use a break from it. Oh, okay, so the water isn't 100% even yet. Oh! Oh, he's got a little grinder. Ah, there we go. We can get an easier view of everything. Yeah, wow, he just remade the whole thing with the schematic. Okay, wow. Babylonia, we saw that. Bunny! What is exotic bunny done? Ah! Oh, hey, Keezer. Don't take things from people's chests. Just general FYI. Not that I'm accusing you or anything. Wow, Bunny really went all out with this. Got future sites, I think, that he'll branch off to. Ah, and then we got my place, which I've got to loop this design around. I'm going to just loop it around over here. And then, I don't know, maybe make like, why are donkeys disabled? I do not know, Saturnius. I don't think they should be. Ah, yes, we forgot Universon's sub. drowned with a jack-o'-lantern on its head. Got his own little livestock and infrastructure farms. Water would have been entirely done, but the server died while you were working on it. Didn't come back up until you'd left for work. Oh, I'm sorry. It's okay, Dark. I can always accidentally drain 2,000 blocks of water and leave your place completely unscathed. Oh wow, a Mesa Bryce. But only like a tiny bit of it. Well, at any rate, there's got to be other things, right? Mosksen. That's a person whose base I've not seen in a while. I think. Oh, what are we here? Okay. It's looking interesting. But not quite sure where it's going. At least not yet. Could be interesting to look out for whenever they get done with this. I don't know. Amion Obsidian Exploder. That's who we've also missed out on. He's lived at the border for a while now. Getting here was hell. Cute place, Rosie. November 1st, 1952. Land of the Misanthropes. Not AFK. Well, that's cool. No idea what he intends to do with this place. I guess this is more of an experiment. And less of a base you would want to live on. I don't know. It's got a nice lush cave underground area. Very beautiful underground area. I don't know that he'd want to live in here, but I would certainly want to explore in here. Well, that's cool. What have we got here? Portal. Oh, yeah, Portal was the one who had a really cool place. Yeah, I forgot about this. I remember now, though. Ooh. So is this a Japanese style something or another? Oh, water cooler, slime and honey dispensers. That's in a little bar. Oh, that's so cool. A little running waterfall, I guess. This goes back over here to various items being stored. Various items being farmed. Oh. Very interesting little space in here. Oh. Very different architecture. I wonder what the difference is supposed to mean. Huh. Paintings, item frames. This is nice. Portal's log cabin. Deep in the heart of the mountain. Or into the heart of the mountain. I don't know if it'll go terribly deep into it. Oh wow, he's got a little waterfall here. That looks nice. Okay. RD Super 8. Have we seen them? Yeah, this is that little tiny village. Or no. No, this is by the, whatchamacallit, the icebergs and stuff. Rosie, Sam, Snuxman, Space, and Sonata. Oh, it's this place. We saw this. We don't know who. They've lived at this little village for a hot minute, but yeah, I don't know off the top of my head who they are. Can I go southwest of your base? I think someone dug there. I just want to clarify. Okay. Let me get the chords. Okay. Southwest. I think someone dug there. Oh wow, Mesa Bryce. Ooh! Yeah, somebody's making something here. Okay, this looks cool. Oh, it's Arabella. Or is it? Oh. Cool. Hi. This looks amazing. Black, brown, okay. Why 3 ender chests? Oh, is it going to be like a mansion of some kind? Well, at any rate, I look forward to seeing however this place ends up turning out. Oh, this must be near Rosie's place. Rosie the train goddess. Yeah, it is. I recognize this little hole in the wall. Rosie's temp shack that never really kind of amounted to anything more, but oh well. Roll back to a time before Arabella's base. Yeah, no, I don't think so. I'm not going to do that to them. They don't deserve that. How about I roll back to a time before your base, Sam, huh? And I localize it to your base only. I could do that, but I wouldn't. Wow, damn, you can't even see. From way up here, I can't even see, like, the floor. I love how it all comes into view, though. The back rooms look amazing. I think Sam is just being a pain for the lull of it, I guess. I don't know. Ooh. Oh. I didn't notice the black concrete powder. I guess that's supposed to be what, the bacteria? Oh yeah, right in here. The bacteria monster growing. Ooh. I don't see how you're supposed to get up here, though. But then again, it's not like the back rooms had a sensible, you know, reasonable layout. It was always meant to be wild, confusing, and otherworldly and strange. No clip in, yeah, exactly. Okay, I don't think there's anywhere I really missed that didn't need to be seen. Now there are a bunch of I don't knows. Might add a third layer just because? Okay. Huh? Oh, I put TPS instead of TP. Whoops. Oh yeah, this place. They've not been here hardly at all. Where even is this? This is somewhat close to everywhere else, although it's in the opposite quad. Well, I guess they might end up making something. I don't know. It's too bad it's so so old that it predates even the last known. I think we had a wipe or something, like, so a lot of history files got basically lost. Where is Gerard? Oh, he's right at the world border, just about. Yep. Keep going that way, you'll reach the other end, and you go that way, you'll reach the other end. Although you got a lot farther a direction to go than that direction, but still. Does the new player have a space in their name? DK75? I don't think so. No, they don't. Oh! It's this place. This was Clamp Wizards. Wasn't it? Unknown, access to Bee's Nest, Fire Tick Zombie. 34 days ago, wow. Who was Zombie? No history. Oh, this place predates the history of, before the last wipe as well. Oh shit, whose place was this? Unknown, access to kelp. That's not kelp. Could have sworn I saw this place on stream and like the owner was here. I want to say this was Clamp Wizard's place. It's here if you want to add it to the 57, 64, 649. You have a world map mod. Oh, okay. Well, you know, you might want to add on to it or something. Oh, shit. Oh, wow. It registered me, but that's it. Check out the world that never was. I couldn't. Because they didn't give out the map. I don't think. If they did, I didn't see it. Nice little island here, I like it. Well, Rossetti. Ah. Yeah, I see you too. Yes, I can also bob up and down in creative mode. Or in spectator mode. Well, it's a nice little mountain and village you got here. Oh, another village, okay. Leave a sign? Maybe later. There's no real point to it. Anyway, they did, but I couldn't find the place. It's an entire replica of the entire Kingdom Hearts 2. Couldn't find the exact place because I've never played the game. Well, I'll take a look at it again. But, Hearts 2 Adventure Map, here we go. Oh, they did have it here, okay. Downloadable map from Google? Oh, it's a Google Drive link. I see now. Well, surely they've got... Ow. Like... 181... Or, yeah, 181 meg. That ain't much. Okay. Well, at any rate, I think we've seen everything there is to see. No snots, not bacteria. Did Andrew remove the Dynamap? It's down because he's got to tweak it. So it's not like permanently gone or anything. It's just not active at the moment because stuff. Whoops. There we go. I wanted to get back to my place. Boop. Oh! This was Meaver. Yeah, Meaver left this sign a while ago. I wonder what Meaver has done in the last, I don't know, however long. Haven't seen Meaver on in a while. Also, so much damn cake. Who spammed all the cakes everywhere? I should get that person, whoever they are. But, alas, we may never know. Oh yeah, the potions. I should, cherish those and drink them later. Okay. So for now, I think that's everything. Katniss's birthday. Ah, right, yeah. Well, spam that at Katniss's place, not my place. But I understand. Ha! Cry about it. Nice. Weaponizing 9S for your own ends, Sam. I tell you, what a low to sink to. Hey, Erratic, what server is this? It's our fan server. Or my fan server, I guess. If you want to join, the description will point you to the Discord, and the Discord has channels set up to, you know, get you started and stuff. So yeah, why do people go to the border? It's not that far out. I mean, it's just to see. I don't know. Look at me, I've been at the border, that kind of thing. Could be, could just be as like, while I'm on my way to the border, if I want to, or if I happen to see, you know, if I happen to see something cool, might settle down there. I don't know. May or may not be worth it. Stream delay's not bad today. Good, good, good. I hope it to not be bad ever, but I also know that I can't always have that, so such is life. But yeah. Okay, well, we got a lot done. Had a very interesting idea. Or not idea, I'm sorry, interesting form of entertainment. The DigCast. So thank you to DigMC again. Where do you pay your Jack's Palace priority? We don't have priority here, I'm sorry. I've still not yet been able to get onto the test server. Just to like... I wanted to make a small shitposty type video just because. Okay, guys, don't push the limit now. But yes, I wanted to do that, and I just haven't had the ability to get on. I don't know. The closest I've gotten was position 1, and then just for hours on end, nobody left, and I was at position 1 until like 3 a.m. Test server isn't up. It takes you to the main server. Oh, fuck, I missed the opportunity. Oh well, I guess that kind of releases me from having to do anything with my presidency. I was totally gonna do something though, I probably. Yeah. Well, at any rate, I will catch you all next time. Ooh. Unblocked bot. What? Wow, that's bright. Help with the wall rose? Nah, I'll finish off that a little bit later. You're the paparazzi. Yes, you are, Ixoy. Okay, well, thank you all so much for doing some amazing stuff and for giving me a moment of your time. Thank you too, Ixoy. I'm trying to look at you, but I can't really look at you because I'm not in the right place. So yeah, this has been fun. I look forward to next week. I will catch you all Monday. Yes, Monday. Fasting. fast approaching Monday. But other than that, make sure to subscribe and like and all that other junk. Tell your friends about me. Y'all have a great evening. I will catch you all later. Bye.